Today's Sunday session is brought to you thanks to the fine folks at More Beer. Visit them right now at morebeer.com.
If you really want to be one of the best brewers there is,
I stopped dressing all in plastic.
You better be brewing 5 to 6 times a week.
Every beer is made with love, and it begs to be appreciated.
I need something to kill the salmonella I'm kind of worried about in the eggs.
Do you find that that the hops kind of clash with the chicken embryo you put in there?
I might sleep here tonight.
It's a California King. There's plenty of room for both of us, Beavis.
Yeah. How many of the brewers over there have seen your ass?
That's it. Someone's getting cut tonight.
All I have to say is, hey, McDowell, how you doing?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
That's right. Welcome to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. It's going to be a fine show. I'm on a marathon party. That's what's been going on. So I'm drinking to survive at this point. And I'm not hungover. This isn't one of those normal shows where I'm like really hungover and I'm drinking to get rid of that. Yeah. It's been a marathon party. And El Segundo Brewing Company is here to help me keep the marathon party going. And that's what's happening on today's program.
Drinking to survive sounds like a Michael McDonald song.
So how long has this marathon been going?
Since
15 years.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. I would like to think I'm fresh off of Burning Man, but I'm not. I'm several days off of Burning Man, but there's been no down.
Yeah.
So I went to Burning Man, with Doc, of course, and a couple of friends here from the Hop Grenade actually were out there with us too, and great time. I hadn't been back in like 3 years, and it was fun to be back.
You were smiling a lot.
Yeah, I had fun. I also remembered why I don't go and how I'm feeling right now as part of that.
You'll forget about that soon.
Yeah. The cool thing about this year is there's now our group and apparently a bunch of other Burning Man people go to Reno afterward. You don't go home now. Because going home sucks. It's like you're lonely and your brain isn't really functioning well. So I heard about this Reno thing where you sit by a pool for a couple days, and I thought, well, now that sounds good. That sounds like a recharge.
Yes.
It's just an extension of the party.
You're just clean.
You're just not dirty.
Yeah.
And by the way, most people got clean by jumping in the pool, which
that was kind of milky, didn't it?
Yeah, like a milky brown hue.
Which is always funny coming from a festival where you're supposed to like embrace, communal living and the earth and whatever, and then you go and fuck someone's pool up.
It was a communal pool, I guess, at that point.
Yeah.
So you go there, and I'm thinking, a couple days, I'll do nothing but rest and sit by the pool, and that didn't happen.
Oh, no.
Then I was home
rest from resting. You have to rest from rest, and it's tough.
Yeah.
Life's tough.
So then I get home, and I forgot that I have the California Craft Beer Summit, which the El Segundo guys were just there. They're already in the studio with us. Please welcome Rob and Tom to the studio. Thanks for being here, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
So it was the first ever California Craft Beer Summit up in Sacramento. So I was home for about 14 hours and then headed up to Sacramento for a 2-day event there. But it was a good event, I felt like, for a first-year event. It was pretty well organized, right? A lot of good people there.
Yeah, it was great. It's a very ambitious project, so we're looking forward to a lot of growth over the next couple of years for sure.
You know what I found interesting, and I think will be a draw for people to go next year, is that there were tons of industry luminaries there.
I mean, it's pretty much everybody.
It was everybody. There were more industry everybody's than there were nobodies like me and like ticket holders and everybody else. So us nobodies need to come out in force next year because you're going to rub elbows with some really great people.
For sure. I think that's going to be one of the big selling points on it. We came out of it with some ideas, and we're looking forward to touching base with the California Craft Brewers Association and being like, hey, how can we be more involved?
Good.
We're really involved with the LA Guild, and I think the guilds coming together we can make a pretty awesome event up here.
Good call. And it's not just about Northern California. It's a California Craft Beer Summit. It just happens to be up here in Sacramento. So I think getting more guilds involved would be great.
For sure, yeah. And, I think the guild, the LA Guild, is really, we'll get really excited and behind it in years to come.
Yeah.
How do you make money on an event like that when everyone is Vinny and everyone's comped?
Yeah. If I had to guess, they probably just about broke even on year one. But yeah, everyone was Vinny. I mean, in fact, we've got some audio to play for you later. Tony McGee was there doing a talk, and we did some video of that. Greg Cook was the keynote speaker. Just on the heels of stepping down as CEO of Stone Brewing Company to move up to executive chair or something. He was making fun of the title himself. I don't know what it is. But all these just great people there.
So maybe you just establish it as the luminary event to go to, and then you hope to make up for it next year?
Yes.
Well, it ends with a big beer festival with a lot of great beer.
And 150 breweries.
Yeah.
It was, in fact, they thought that maybe it was the largest beer fest in terms of number of breweries ever put on in California. So that was pretty cool. And they did sell a lot of tickets to the beer fest part, but it still wasn't so crowded that you couldn't get a beer. There were only a couple lines. So our friends at the Rare Barrel had a line, of course.
Of course. Were they all California breweries, all 150?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only California. It'll stay the same. I mean, it's going to grow. You're going to see that thing be 200 and plus, I bet, in years to come.
That'd be great. So it was a good time. So look out for it next year. And we've got some video coming to you. We recorded a couple of the presentations. And like I said, we've got some audio of Tony McGee tonight talking about the Heineken buyout of Lagunitas, which is on everybody's minds, of course.
Oh, what? Ooh, I better go edit my news.
Yeah.
And what a week in news.
No kidding.
Really. It's a crazy time in beer. So that was a great time, and then the beer fest there, of course, Saturday, and then I was home again thinking like I had, this would be great, now I can just take Sunday off.
Yeah.
And then this asshole we know called JP had a bachelor party yesterday.
That's right.
So I had to go to that. And I tried hard not to go to it, actually.
I'm sure you did. I tried hard not to go to it.
I tried really hard.
Yeah.
My conscience wouldn't let me.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
It wasn't we didn't stay out too late. We drank a bunch of beer. And
no, I mean, it's me. If it was Doc, that'd be a different thing.
Right.
You need to, pregame for a month. But
I wouldn't even be here on today's show. Right. It's Doc's bachelor party.
Right. No, I'm pretty...
There won't be one.
Yeah. I'm pretty grandpa about everything, so it was fine. It was good. I had a good time.
We went to a knitting class, and...
it was good, yeah. It was my favorite portion of it was managing prescriptions. And how to do that.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot.
We all got a free pill box.
Bingo got pretty crazy at the end, though.
Yeah. It was the party favor at the end.
We said we wouldn't talk about bingo.
JP's bachelor party.
It was.
Yeah. It said, JP 2015 on the pill box.
Which actually might be his death year.
Yeah. Right. Doc, if I give you that pill box, can you put good things in it for me?
Yeah. Off the record?
To keep me alive for the next week is what I need.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
All right, so we got a great show planned for you today. I will come out of this, like I said, drinking to survive. It's my motto. By the way, I would like to announce to all of the Hop Grenade and the Hop Grenade staff who works for him that Kevin, your general manager, cannot handle his liquor.
He's such a rookie.
Yeah.
The kid has 4 beers and then has the worst hangover in the world. He's in bed for days.
Really?
He's fine the night of. I don't mean he can't handle it the night of. He's great. He's a good time.
Yeah.
But you look at him and you don't see him doing anything out of the ordinary. Like, we're not finishing off a bottle of tequila. There's nothing like that going on.
Yeah.
We're just out drinking some beer.
Right.
And the next day, he's a mess.
Yeah, he's a shade of green.
He did it at Firestone, you'll remember. At least that was some really heavy drinking.
Yes.
But up at the Beer Summit, we went out for a normal night of drinking. Put him down for 2 days.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He blamed it on a lack of water.
So,
which is still a rookie move.
This is a text conversation that Kevin and I had.
Nice.
Me at 12:21 p.m.
Yeah.
You okay, buddy? Because nobody had heard from him. His response was, "I feel awful." My response was a frowny face, and then he said, "I think I might be dying."
Don't tell anybody.
He had
he had 4 beers.
He had badges that I needed and stuff. I got Tasty texting me that he's on his way, and I'm thinking, shit, I don't know that Kevin's ever going to show up. I'm going to have to send somebody to him.
And wow, the roles were reversed a little bit. Yeah. There was an event where you had to go looking for somebody who had all the information.
Yes. Yeah. So, watch out for that Kevin.
Yeah.
Don't expect to see him the next day if you party with him on
good old Four Loko hands.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It wasn't Four Loko,
right?
And he just needs
caffeine alcohol.
Yeah, he runs on like 89, not 91.
Yeah. All right.
Too rich.
So like I said, we'll have some California Craft Beer Summit video coming to you soon. I think we're going to put the whole presentation from Tony McGee up tomorrow. And then we've got a couple other things that we'll get to. We've got Greg Cook's keynote speech that we'll get to you and a couple other things, too. The Brewing Network will be at the Great American Beer Festival all next week. You can watch our presentations over on thebrewingnetwork.com/TV. We'll be doing our normal broadcasts all week long from the Brewer Studio Pavilion. We've got great panels all week. You can go over and check it out on their website. And then, of course, we'll be airing the awards ceremony on Saturday morning like we always do. So you brewers that are staying home or just want to show the family the awards, you can root for your favorites. Just go to thebrewingnetwork.com/TV, and we'll get a schedule up on the Brewing Network website so you can see what's happening when. You guys going to GABF this year, El Segundo?
We'll have some people out there. We don't have a booth this year, but we'll have some representation on the floor.
And did you enter the competition?
We did. I think we put, 5 beers in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Looking forward to seeing you guys out there. All right, you can get Moscow's new designs, Hop Life gear, over at what?
HopLifeStore.com.
How's it going? Are people buying the shirts?
Yeah, a couple of prints sold, a couple of shirts. Some Aussie listeners bought stuff. My brother kind of called me in a panic, like, God, how much does it cost to ship to Australia? Did we just lose our shirt on sending stuff? And I was like, nah, don't worry about it.
You probably lost your profits, but
oh, well.
That's all right. Get it out there. All right, check it out at hoplifestore.com. Okay. You can support us by doing your Amazon shopping. Just hit the Amazon link on our homepage. It's right over there on the right side of the homepage. It's orange. It says Amazon, and then you do your shopping like normal, and we get a little piece of the action. We have a product of the week.
Yeah, it's the Nino Percussion African-style rope-tuned Earth Series. It's a bongo drum, basically.
Okay.
Somebody bought it for $19.99,
Wow.
and we got $1.50.
All right.
Justin, we're 2 weeks too late on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
God,
carved from one solid piece of mahogany, hand-selected goat heads, and high-quality nylon ropes. Is this drum heads are made of goat?
Justin,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me your opinion on drum circles?
There are not many things on this earth
that you love
that
more.
annoy me more than fucking drum circles.
You hang out with a lot of people who hang out with a lot of people who play them.
Hey, I know, and they're stupid.
Bevo, please.
They're just the most annoying. I mean, who gives a shit?
Right.
Like everybody can beat on something, the table, whatever.
Yeah.
They never sound good,
No.
and the people. If you go watch the drum circle, they're so into it. And you're like, really? Don't you have something else to do with your time? Go get a job. Every time I see a drum circle, that's what goes through my head is get
a job.
a fucking job. Because none of those people work. They don't work.
No. Well, you get donations for patchouli. And
It's also, half of them are white kids with dreadlocks, which is also a stupid thing to do.
Yes.
Yep.
I think the guy with the didgeridoo has a job.
Oh, okay. He's the one guy with a...
So
they do it here in the park right here.
Oftentimes
I come into work.
in the park.
It ruins my day instantly.
There was one today, and it consisted of an older gentleman, an African-American man, an old lady.
Wow.
Really?
A really old lady, yeah.
Well, why don't you explain where the old lady's from?
I don't know where she's from.
Exactly.
She wasn't black.
Exactly.
Peruvian American.
Fair enough, Evo.
And a white kid with dreadlocks.
Of course there was.
Were there skateboards laying around?
Yeah.
And it
started with the old ladies.
And it starts with 4 of them, and it's something about the sound and the smell of the patchouli attracts the rest like moths. They come from other cities, even.
What are you, Cartman?
Why does Cartman hate?
Oh, he hates hippies.
Hippies are okay. Just don't give them drums
or anything.
We need to give you.
Give
You
them
need
jobs.
You need a drum.
Oh no!
Well, I mean, Burning Man is a big drum circle.
No,
Big drum,
not really.
Drum
It's a circle. Yeah.
I did not hear one drum circle.
It doesn't mean
Burning
that they
Man.
weren't there.
Because it's all techno bullshit.
Techno
at,
drums.
Burning Man. So
it's synth bongos. That's what it is.
Well, enjoy your drum circle,
Yes.
and thanks for buying it through our link, You unemployable hippie bastard.
How much? How much was that thing?
It was $20. We got $1.50.
The whole thing's $20.
$20.
It's pretty good
For a goat head
hand-selected goat
and
heads
some
is what I heard.
mahogany. Yep.
I need that.
I have a feeling hand-selected.
I'm going to bring it over to your house.
I'm going to pull the next one off the pile and put it on.
All right. Subscribe and join the BN Army just by hitting the donate button on our homepage. That's a great way to support us, too. And you get entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway. More Beer is the sponsor of this show and every session that we bring you. And they give away $100 every month to one of our lucky and loyal BN Army members. I do want to remind you to keep your PayPal address up to date there because, for example, this month, David Knecht, K-N-E-C-H-T, Knecht, maybe. You won the More Beer donation giveaway, but your email is bouncing back, so we can't let you know. So please send us an email to bnarmy@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we'll get you your $100. But for the rest of you, that's how we send out our newsletter that you've signed up for, and all communication happens through that PayPal address. So make sure you keep it up to date. You can sign up to our newsletter with another address if you like, but if you win the More Beer donation giveaway, we need to know your PayPal stuff. So please go check it now. And David Knecht, give us an email, bnarmy@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we'll get you your $100 from More Beer.
What if David Knecht never gets in touch with you? Does the $100 roll over to next month's and they get $200?
No, I think we draw another name.
Oh,
is what we do.
Boring.
Yeah.
I just got a Yahoo address for that, so you'll get somebody will be responding.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you will have to write in and verify your old address, David. So we make sure the right David is getting your $100. So, all right, get all these updates and more over on Twitter and the other thing,
Facebook.
Send your show ideas to Scott the Jew. That's Scott@thebrewingnetwork.com, and send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Do we have a Twitter game this week, JP?
Yes, we do.
All right, Twitter game is brought to you by the folks at the Labruski Cruise, which is an all-beer cruise happening the first week of March. We're going to be there. We just saw some of the lovely ladies promoting the Labruski Cruise at the Craft Beer Summit. They were nice people. I hope they go on the boat.
Great personalities.
Really nice people. So we'll be on the cruise, and we hope you can, too. Go to
LabruskiCruise.com. Real easy.
Every Twitter winner is entered for a chance to win a cabin between now and I think October or so. We'll be or December. I don't know what the hell we're doing.
The cabin is in Yosemite, and it's for...
It's not with us. Now, just keep playing the Twitter game. If you win, you're entered for a chance to win the cabin. So, all right, what's our Twitter game?
Well, since there's a lot of lovely people that listen to the shows, and everyone likes to chime in with what we do with our lives and how we do shit wrong, what we could be doing right, and whatever. And since I am getting married this weekend, I feel like it's only appropriate to ask the very, very smart people who listen to this program what I could do to improve my life in marriages. In marriaging.
Plural.
In being marriaged.
In being married.
Right. So I want our listeners to give us, to give me some.
You want
some
marital advice.
I want marital advice, and also, if you want to, donate, it's jasontarrant.com. But I'm just saying. Otherwise, that's the Twitter game. So let me know, Brewing Network.
I forgot you're getting married this weekend.
Me too.
Yeah.
Too bad I got plans already.
Yeah. Well, Waterworld is the last weekend. So
they're closing.
It's 2 for $1s.
Are you having a drum circle?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, God. I'm out.
No, you're emceeing it. It's going to be a drum battle-off. It's like a square dance battle-off.
Did you get a lot of good beer for the wedding? I always assumed that your wedding would have, that wouldn't happen. But that was my first assumption. My second assumption was that it would have great beer.
Yes, I have Coors.
Banquet?
Bunch of hams.
Yeah. Good.
No, so I did a beer with a rare barrel. So it's a dry hopped apricot beer, golden sour. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure.
Okay.
So we'll have that. I just picked up some Faction Pills, some Faction 2-hop.
Nice.
Pale ale. I got some shitty flat tail beers. Not shitty, but their 6 a.m. stout. I know he's listening, so fuck that guy. And then I'm getting some Eagle Rock beers delivered.
Wow.
And I have a case of double IPA, I think, from Beechwood.
Nice.
And, a bunch of fun stuff like that.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time. And we got some home brews, which, whatever, but it'll be a good time.
What time of day does the ceremony start?
Like 4, I think.
Oh, we could be real drunk by then.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Is Kevin going? Because he'll probably be up by then.
Kevin will bring us the beer.
That's another event that we haven't been on the air since the Flat Tail anniversary party here at the Grenade. That was another shit show in a long line of shit shows the last couple of weeks.
It was a little bit of a shit show. I think most of the shit show happened at your house after the party.
Yeah, without me.
You were out of town, and I think half the staff here went and threw a party.
Yeah, they went and had a pool party.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
Nice. I like how we do that when Moscow leaves.
Yeah. Bevo texted me the next day. She's like, you don't even worry about it. You won't even know we're here. And Alexa and I come home the next night. All our doors are unlocked, and her bathing suit's hanging off our shower fixture. I had no idea.
Sam didn't bring his, so.
Right.
I don't even really remember showering.
Oh, God.
Probably wasn't you then.
It was.
Oh, okay.
JP, are you nervous about the wedding?
No. I'm not nervous about it.
Not at all?
I'm nervous about running out of beer, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. Because I know how many heavy beer drinkers are coming in. So we're trying to plan for how much wine and booze and beer to bring. And I'm like, you don't understand, Taryn. Most people will be drinking beer, and a lot of it. Well, I don't know. This website, on Pinterest, I found... Stop looking at fucking Pinterest. Trust me.
It's been 11 months of Pinterest.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 week without it.
Let's go beer heavy on this one, and so I'm a little nervous about it because you don't want to overbuy beer because then you're stuck with a bunch of kegs and then we'll be gone for like 2.5 weeks. I don't have storage for it. It's a whole thing. So,
Doc, did you get kegs delivered to your house today? Was one of them a full half barrel of Pale 31? I got a half barrel of Pale 31 I'm bringing to the...
Nice.
I was going to volunteer it, but I thought I'd let you mention it first.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
You
I'm
down
bringing
with that?
like 6 bottles of wine.
Jesus.
Fuck yeah.
Cheap wine?
Chuck,
No, it's not $2, Chuck.
Couldn't even spring for the case at $2.
It's BV Coastal, right?
Yeah.
That's the drinker.
No.
No, that's...
Dude.
Yeah.
So Dave and Trish, Terrence's parents, they have this friend who has a giant fucking wine cellar, like one of these people who just has these like memberships to all these different wineries and whatever around the area.
Okay.
And she's giving us 8 cases of wine.
Wow.
And it's like Murrieta's Well, Petite Syrahs, like all these like really nice $20 to $35 bottles of wine that are just going to get fucking just...
8 cases will get us through Friday night, I think.
People with slammed palates are going to be like drinking a $30 bottle of wine, and I have no
I'm
idea.
just going to be carrying a bottle around, holding it up.
We got really lucky. It's going to be an amazing time, and
All right,
it's going to be fun.
I'm excited. All right, let's do a little bit of feedback. Feedback's brought to you today by our good friends over at Beer Law Center. You can go to beerlawcenter.com and check it out. They protect my trademark, do a good job of it, and they can protect yours too, or help you in starting up a brewery. They do TTB and all sorts of things like that. It's our good friend John over at beerlawcenter.com. All right, what do we have here? No subject. I wrote about the session and put a link to your show on my brewsnews.com website. And that's Brews News with Z's, all right?
You have to.
But I'm an idiot, and I forgot to tell you about it. I put up a new post yesterday, so now you have to scroll down, and it's next to the part about ale industries to see it. Obviously, it's not a serious beer news website, but when I only wrote about beer, nobody read it. So I started throwing in old stories and references to Bay Area bands, and now I get hundreds of views instead of a dozen. I've been a private in your Army for the past 6 or 7 years, so thanks. I love the show, from Aaron. All right, well, thanks for the mention. I did go take a look at it. Did you look at it, JP?
I did look at it, and it's full of... I feel like this kid is as old as I am, and we probably went to the same fucking high school, because he's like referencing bands like Your Mother, who were like huge in the Pleasanton high school scene, and I don't know, all this. I was like, wow, this is my life.
It's very meta.
It's very weird right now.
Okay.
But yeah, it was cool, and I put a link in there. I don't know if you were refreshed or not, but to the actual thing where he mentions us about the ale industry show, and it was real cool.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks for the write-up. I appreciate it. Man, I still got weird things coming out of my nose from the playa.
Once they go in, they got to go out. You know what I mean?
I know, but it's been a long time. I would think I'd be done by now, but...
Nah.
God damn it.
Your sinuses are huge. I've noticed that about you.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Christopher writes in a formal apology, he says. Hello, Brewing Network. My name is Chris. However, you wouldn't know that because when I called in for Drunk of the Week a couple weeks ago, I identified myself as Cork Zoo. Justin...
That's close.
Justin grumbled a little bit that people don't use their real names. And at first I brushed it off, but upon further reflection, I think he's right. When we are leaving drunken messages on an answering machine, or when we're interacting in an online forum about homebrewing, we should be using our real names. So for that reason, I would like to submit a formal apology for not using my real name. I hope that Moscow, Bevo, Tasty, Doc, Beardy, Push, Eject, and everyone else at BN can find it in their heart to forgive me. Sincerely, Christopher Thomas Quirk Nelson.
Hey, this is Quirk Zoo from...
Yeah, he says, P.S. Yes, Quirk is part of my legal name. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, what is he, Terrence's kid?
Yeah. Terrence should name all of our kids.
I think he should.
No.
Excitement Petros. That's going to be your baby's name.
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, question mark is the subject line here. This is a weird one.
Yes, Clayton.
It starts written like a transcript. So, idiot number 1, have you heard of the Brewing Network? Idiot number 2, no, is that one of those new indie podcasts? And that was the whole email. But then he sent a second follow-up email.
Yes.
Why am I so dumb? Example, at Trader Joe's, I saw a new design on the Mission Street beer line, so I bought an IPA. I know that if it was the old package design, I would have bought the Mission Street. I knew it at the time and still bought it. I don't know. I love the beer, but what the heck? What the fuck is he talking about?
I think he doesn't like that. I think he knows that he hates the beer, but it has new branding. Mm-hmm. So he was a victim of consumerism.
I see.
And he chose to buy the beer even though he knows he does not like it.
So I noticed that they changed the Mission Street packaging too, and it made me wonder if Firestone isn't making it anymore.
They're not.
They're not.
Oh, really?
So I'm glad you answered it, because my next thing was going to be, because maybe I'm an idiot, bought it anyway, tasted it.
And it was worse.
And it was worse. It wasn't good anymore.
That was one of the best buys in the market.
Yes.
I mean, when it was, Trader Joe's, they buy in bulk, so sometimes it would get old and you'd find it oxidized and not that great, but sometimes you'd buy, and it was like, what is it, like $4.99 or $3.99 a 6-pack? Like,
for, by the way, a gold medal winning pale ale.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one, and they put that one in and win at GABF all the time.
I'm pretty sure that the way it went was the first year, and I forget which order it was, but let's just say Mission Street won gold and Pale 31 won silver. And the following year, they just reversed the two positions. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Well, so this is going to really impact their medal count every year.
Yeah. So, do you know why they're not making it anymore? Is it just?
I think it's just a capacity thing, and they're putting their focuses on other stuff. And
Duvel told them not to.
It's the first sign of Duvel.
This happened a while ago, because it happened in L.A. a long while, but we don't even get Mission Street in Trader Joe's anymore in LA.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
No. There's a few other stuff, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to know who brews that. But anyway, it's Golden Road.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
I mean, I really like it.
Off the record. Off the record. It's Golden Road.
We're not even lying.
You heard it her, folks.
I went grocery shopping yesterday, and I was kind of excited because Mission was at Safeway, and I was like, that's really weird.
Oh, it's a Safeway, too.
And I bought it.
No. You saw that. That's Mission Brewery.
Oh, yeah, that's
okay.
different.
Yeah,
that's can.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a can. It was a bottle.
Oh.
They bottle.
Yeah, they do. That's a different thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Shipwreck can is also one of the greatest deals in the market. It's like $9.99, and I had a buyer be like, it's essentially a 6-pack in one can if you count the alcohol, the high alcohol levels, and that's how he sells it to people going out the door. I was like, that's just irresponsible.
It is. I'll take 2. Don't give any to Kevin.
No.
All right, so I don't know why. That was from Clayton, sent from Bevo's mom's Windows phone, he says. All right, this one's titled Lunch Meat? Really? Hey, asshats and Bevo, I just heard you're thinking about bringing back lunch meat. Really? Hey, don't get me wrong. You guys are pretty funny, usually, except JP.
No.
But come on, Justin's got a corporate image to maintain now. And lunch meat could become the proverbial Jared to his Subway. Wow. He does make an interesting point.
He does.
Instead, he says, how about bringing Sean Paxton back for some more homebrew chef action? Or bring Nicole back for some It's My Birthday action.
Birthday!
It won't take that much sponsorship to meet all my unreasonable demands, will it? Can you guys just have a BN bake sale? I'm looking at you, Tasty. Love what you do. Keep it up from Ryan. P.S. The new website looks good, and you should feel good. P.P.S. I actually like lunch meat. And P.P.P.S. JP's all right.
You can suck a dick.
Yeah.
Probably could.
So, yeah, we are still working to bring lunch meat back. We are a little over 10% of the way to our goal. We have about 6 days left. If you want to go support it, go check out our Indiegogo campaign. Only you can revive the meat.
Yeah, or prevent it.
Prevent it from it'll go away forever.
It will go away forever, and that's the sad thing. We are 12% funded with 16 days left.
Oh, 16 days.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Jeez.
That's good.
Yeah, it is. It's 42 people have chimed in. But we haven't posted the most recent lunch meat yet.
Do you think that affects it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because nobody knows about the campaign other than... Because we haven't done a show to talk about it except lunch meat, and so it's only like...
So you're saying that there are
Facebook.
lunch meat subscribers that don't listen to anything else or watch anything else that BN does and are only going to hear about it through the podcast, and they're the ones who are going to push us over the top.
Yes, I do. Because the way Facebook works, like you make a post and maybe 20% of people actually see it, if that.
Yeah.
And so it's just because we have like 1 billion followers doesn't mean that they all see it.
Okay.
And I think it's only been posted once, so it's, the podcast is the best way to do it.
All right.
And you said you wouldn't hold that episode ransom, but you haven't released it yet. So how can we trust, even if you got the money, that you would even do podcast, liar?
Oh, he called you out.
I don't think I said I wouldn't hold that episode ransom. I don't think I ever agreed to release a single episode without getting paid. I agreed internally with JP that I might release it so that it will help. But I didn't promise listeners anything. I said, pony up your money, and you'll get your show.
Except on the show we said it. But Warren can't even talk. He hasn't even donated, so fuck him.
That sounds like ransom now.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Mel Gibson's great.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. Dear pontificating sweaty nutsacks and Bevo, during the show... During the show, the question came up about distilling sour beer. And if I remember correctly, there was a question about pH carrying over to the finished product. I've talked with several people who make fuel or purify water at home.
Quote, unquote.
Yeah. So they do it as well. As one of the best craft distillers in the country, I've asked him, Leopold Brothers. From everything I've gleaned from the sole purpose of the sour mash is to allow bacteria in the form of lacto. I think he means pedio, not Pedro. Although Pedro might be a new bacteria from south of the border. I don't know.
You don't know.
Go for Pedro.
And acetobacter to produce complex esters and flavors that will carry through into the final distillate. The pH does not carry over into the finished product. Hence, why Jack Daniels does not taste sour compared to Jameson. They both taste like burning, as it is. So, what is he going? Is there a question here, or are we just? He just wanted to know things. I guess that's it on that subject. He moves on to say, this past weekend I was enjoying one of your fine archive shows when I stumbled upon the first appearance of Scott the Jew on the Brewing Network during the Lagunitas show from 2009. What the fuck happened to him? He came on strong with a decent radio voice and a laid-back personality, but over the years it has regressed into a high-pitched, prepubescent, nervous pretentiousness that at times is uncomfortable to listen to. Wow.
Is my voice high-pitched, really? That's a weird one.
Just when you get excited, I think.
I was like, Han Solo, who's scruffy looking? Anyway.
It is? You think it's high-pitched?
No, because... in the Star Wars movie, have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, he gets insulted with a bunch of things, and he picks out the least insulting of the entire thing to rebut.
Who are you calling?
I see.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't give me any bullshit about the audio quality changing, because Justin and JP sound exactly the same.
I know!
Although you'd think JP's jokes would have improved.
Stop it, Mom. That's fucking rude.
He says, that's all. My brain is shutting down. Triple Rock Jeff.
I was never laid back, that's for sure. So that hasn't changed.
That's a good point.
Could be a mistaken identity.
Pretentiousness? That's a weird one, too. All right.
It's all weird.
Piss off, Jeff.
All right. And now Groby writes in about his, this one's titled Brewing Girlfriend. Groby. Hey, Brewcasters, I've had the good fortune to find a lady that's not only willing to tolerate my brewing, but is adamant that I teach her. She brewed her first extract saison last week and loves the process. Now she wants to know when she can brew a sour beer. However, the highlight of our brewing relationship may have come tonight while listening to the latest session download. Tonight was the first time that she heard the Adam and Eve advertisement. Ooh. I nearly wrecked my car as she screamed, "What? 10 free DVDs and a free toy for me? Why the fuck didn't you tell me about this sooner?" He says, "I think I'm in love."
To keep her.
Thanks for all the entertainment. Keep up the good work. Tasty kicks ass. Just don't let him near my lady. P.S. Get Brandon Jones and the Yazoo guys on the session. Great guys and great beer. I don't know the guys from Yazoo, but I have had their beer, and I agree it's great beer.
Yeah,
I had it when I was in Nashville. God, it was a couple years ago now.
Nashville.
Great regular clean beers and good sour beers. They had a nice sour program.
I think Brandon runs their sour program.
Okay.
He used to work as a news guy, as a matter of fact, which is very weird. And until recently, he's going full-time at the brewery to do their sour program.
Got it.
Yeah.
I would like to have the Yazoo guys on the show. All right. Thanks, Groby. And then finally, our spam of the week. Hello, thebrewingnetwork.com owner. How is it possible that my website is having so many errors? Why are they talking about their website?
I think it's supposed to be in quotes, maybe.
Yes, most of the people share their anger and frustration once they get my email. Now I will show you the number of broken links, pages that return 4XX status codes upon request, images with no alt text, pages with no meta description, not having a unique meta description, having two... Who gives a...
Even spam is complaining about the website.
I know. This one's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I might need to contact these people. I do have a lot of these errors. I have a large professional team who can fix all the above issues immediately and at an affordable price. Anyway, best regards from Kathy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, here's some bitch called
Even
Kathy.
Spam is complaining about my website. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
Can we get Kathy on the phone?
Call her right now. Need to fix some things. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time to start talking to the boys from El Segundo Brewing Company. We have some of your beer on tap, I think, right? A couple things at least.
2 on tap, and I brought an extra bottle just for fun.
Oh, you did?
Uh-huh.
What do we have on tap? Mayberry IPA. I see that on tap. And then Hammerland Double IPA. That's going to help me in my drinking to survive quest, you know.
It gets you there quick.
Was that your best of show double IPA?
That was
the one?
That's the one that won at the bistro.
Nice.
All right. I remember that. My staff here was like really stoked for you guys because we've always had bottles of your beer here.
Yeah.
And they really like it. And when you guys won, I heard them all buzzing about it out there.
When those guys, me and Rob weren't there, and when those guys came back, they were like, "You have to be on the Brewing Network." So I think
always a glaring endorsement.
I wonder how many times that specific scene has played out in the guests that we have.
Right.
Like a drunken, you got to do is fucking the beer network people.
It's a podcast.
It's a thing, but it's fine.
It's fine. They talk about guys like you.
Just like you. I mean, not you, but like, prettier.
So Aaron is one of our guys here, went up to the summit with us, too. He was there at the fest Saturday, and that was him walking around Saturday night. He was so hammered. And every time I'm talking to somebody, I was talking to Brian Hunt or somebody from Moonlight, Aaron would come up, hey, you're the guy. You're the best guy. You're the brewer guy.
Does he put the finger in your chest?
He's poking. You can brew the beer. You're the guy. And go to the next one. I'm talking to somebody else. Hey.
Great.
I love what you do. I love it.
We went to dinner after the fest, and he was sitting next to Kevin asleep, slunched over at the restaurant.
Dude, I got to take this whole staff on like a training mission. I mean, I got to fix these guys up. You got to know how to get through a fest and wake up the next day to go to another fest.
Right.
You just bring him to GABF and make him go the whole time.
That's it, right?
Wednesday to Sunday in Denver. If you can survive that, you can survive almost anything.
Make him work the
right.
booth.
I don't know that they could survive it at this point.
No.
Their livers are still young and nubile.
You just go into their
That
room
should
with
be
like
in
an
their
air
favor.
horn.
Soft and squishy.
They don't have enough calluses on them yet. Livers. All right, well, at the break, I'm going to go out and I think I'm not going to go for the Hammerland first. I'm going to start with the Mayberry. And what's the beer that you brought to share with us here?
I've got a bottle of Hop Tanker, which is another one of our double IPAs, a 9%er with Nelson Sauvin and Citra.
This is my show, baby.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yeah. I'm not driving home tonight.
You got to stop emailing people ahead of time with your requests, because then it's just all one-sided beer selection.
I'm sorry we don't make fizzy water.
All right, a quick break. We're going to get us some beers. We're going to come back and talk to the El Segundo Brewing dudes. We'll learn all about how they got started and the beer. Hang in there. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch
Do
out!
you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support. Like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we
first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls.
Marquis, stop. Look!
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
Brewcasters are back.
888-401-BEER.
Whatever.
All right, welcome back to the program, and thanks for hanging out with us. We've got El Segundo Brewing Company in the studio from El Segundo, California, where I left my wallet.
Never heard that one.
It's always coming. Every time.
Every fucking time.
Every time.
One of you grew up there, was like born and raised there, right?
That was me.
Is that you? So you've been hearing that your whole life.
And it's funny every time.
Every time.
Now that you said it, I'm going to pull out. I had it in my closing.
Now you got to remove it.
Now I got to remove it.
It'll still. If it's funny every time, it'll be funny again later in the program. Where is El Segundo? Near L.A.?
We are just south of the airport, right by LAX.
Got it. Okay, and it's a city. It's okay.
Right. Between LAX and Manhattan Beach.
Okay, in L.A. County, right there. All right, and you've been there your whole life, man.
Yeah, born and bred. Wife born and bred.
That's pretty rare for Californians, right?
Kind of a homebody.
Okay, got it. What'd you do before? Now, this is Rob, of course, and Rob's one of the partners and founders of El Segundo.
Correct.
What'd you do before the brewery?
I sat behind a desk and looked at a bunch of numbers for hours on end for various aerospace companies in the area.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Like an engineer, an accountant?
Finance.
Finance.
Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't love that?
I did not love that. I don't think I ever had a day that I went home and said that was awesome.
The funniest thing is he still does that. It's just for a brewery.
Just for a brewery.
It's really different when you do it for yourself. Yeah, it went full circle. I bailed that business because I didn't like it very much. I was never happy. And I'm making beer and doing deliveries and doing the day-to-day stuff. And 4 years later, I'm back to doing schedules and spreadsheets again. It's pretty wild. But it's better for when it's yourself.
Now you don't mind it. Okay,
no.
Yeah. So it's Rob and Tom are both here. And Tom is another one of the partners and founders and the brewmaster, right?
No.
No.
Rob's production, I'm sales and distribution.
Oh, got it. Okay. I confused my notes. All right. So you're in the brewery, too. You're not just doing spreadsheets.
No, well, in the beginning, it was all me doing beer. Tom was out selling it. I was making beer. I was running the brewery. I was doing deliveries and everything.
Okay.
And so it's kind of, we've kind of always had these like two sides of the house. He's like the guy that gets out and moves it, and he's the face man. I'm the guy in my cave making beer. In the brewery.
You were a home brewer before, I assume.
I was home brewing for like 9 years before we did it.
Okay. So while you were in the aerospace industry, you picked up the beer hobby.
That's right. Just kind of fell backwards into a homebrew kit from one of my buddies and went and made beer and, usual thing. I thought it was great. It was probably terrible. And then, got that bug and, fast forward 9 years and a whole bunch of things lined up and ended up leaving the company and doing this.
Were you able to sort of cash out a retirement or something?
Yeah,
Did you put it all on the line for this thing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was a whole bunch of things that kind of lined up. I was fortunate enough to get accepted to the Davis program.
Okay.
I had actually got to know Tom before that. He was the GM at Library Ale House, which is one of my favorite places.
That's Santa Monica, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Right, so we got that connection there, and then some people interested in backing us financially, and
okay,
and then there was a layoff at Northrop, and I went ahead and volunteered for it rather than letting them lay off, cut my people, and walked out the door with a check.
Wow.
Yeah, just perfect timing.
Right, just a good spot to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so the plan then was to immediately go open a brewery right there in El Segundo.
That was it. I mean, that was the only place I was going to do it. That was, hometown. I went to school in San Luis Obispo. That's about the only other place I'd ever want to live. But
okay,
no, El Segundo was it.
Okay. And did you have trouble finding a location that met your needs there?
It's all these things that were just like kind of circumstance that worked out for us. Because I was looking around. There's like an industrial area of El Segundo, and I was kind of looking around there for a while. And and I hooked up with a friend of a friend who does a bunch of business in El Segundo, and just about to talk about how you do business there and stuff. And I was, complaining about I can't find place with 20-foot ceilings and this and that. So we have this building with a warehouse we're not even using, and then it just so happens it's on Main Street. And it so happens that the business that was there before us didn't really fit with the city code either, so we get grandfathered in, and all these things lined up, and then we end up on Main Street in El Segundo. So it was perfect.
Wow, nice.
Can I just ask a question about population before we get into the building itself?
17,000 about.
So yeah, it's about 7. I'm looking it up on the internet.
But it's not like, I mean, it's like right there, mixed in the beach.
It's
city.
in L.A.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
You have a huge surrounding population for sure. But I'm picturing people listening to this that maybe don't. Maybe they're in like Nebraska or something, but they're in 15,000 in their town, and they grew up there and they love it. Did anyone ever talk to you? Maybe not because it's Southern California, but if there's a population cutoff, like you wouldn't want to open a brewery in Busted Whistle because only 9,000 people, or like what's that number? Has anyone ever had that conversation?
I have no idea. I've never had that conversation.
You wouldn't have that conversation in Los Angeles.
In El Segundo, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, because you don't know when you're from one town to the next. It's not like you're in the middle of...
I think it's a good question if you are in the middle of nowhere. If you're in the middle of, just kind of a random state with let's say the population was 17,000 and it wasn't in the middle of a city, that was just cows surrounding the place. Then I think, you would ask yourself that question.
I mean, then you think about like Hill Farmstead. I mean, literally in the middle of nowhere. But if you can sell your beer like that, it really
distribute
doesn't matter.
it out. That's
it
true.
depends on what you want to do. If you want to support the local community, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to be someone who has their shit nationwide, then,
sure.
That's
I like that you're mentioning kind of the lucky parts of this. We're going to put up this video, I think, tomorrow of Tony McGee at the summit. Did you guys listen in on that at all yesterday? Or
I didn't see it.
So he spent most of the time, he didn't mention Heineken until somebody asked him at the end, right? He spent most of the time talking about building the Chicago brewery and the interesting things that happened during that process. But my favorite part of what he was saying is that luck and just that kind of magic that comes with luck and being in the right place is not just like an esoteric thing. It's material. It's the first time I've ever heard somebody say when you're planning your business, luck is material. It's part of the process. And you should open yourself up to that and you should plan for it. And I'd never heard anybody put it that way, right? We all just go, oh, goddamn, I'm so glad that I got lucky. But we all get lucky in some way like that.
Yeah, I think that all those things I talked about before, that was all luck that just kind of all came together at the same time. But then also, like, just the timing of the whole thing, too. When I was able to walk away, from where I was working.
Yeah.
And, we're only, 4.5 years old, and I think we're the 6th oldest production brewery in L.A.
In L.A.,
maybe
right.
5th.
Yeah.
And so, now I look at it, and, if we were to start now with so many breweries around, the way we started with, wholesale only, no tap room, no name brewer. I think it'd be a lot tougher now. But we were able to get, just a foothold in the local market just because we were so new shiny toy in town. And,
sure.
And I think that was really fortunate for us. But again, it's that luck.
The L.A. laws were difficult, right, at that time to open up.
For us, it was the big thorn in our side was L.A. County Health. So,
okay.
ABC wasn't too bad. The city was great supporting us. But it was health department. They really just didn't know how to handle a brewery because there weren't any. So they kept throwing restaurant laws at us, and it didn't make sense.
Sure.
And fortunately for us, we were in a position where I was about to drop $20,000, which back then was a monumental amount of money.
Yeah.
On some certifications that were complete BS, and it was either that or just not do it. And at that time was when LA County Health threw up their hands and said, okay, we're not doing breweries anymore. So fortunately, we were able to avoid that whole thing.
Now, wasn't there, I'm trying to remember, I grew up some of my youth in the LA area. I thought I remembered some big breweries. Like, wasn't there always a Miller plant down in LA?
Big ones, yeah.
So how do they not know how to deal with a brewery? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I've heard this story before. I'm not calling you a liar. I just don't understand why they didn't know what to do.
But there's only 2.
They would never go there either.
And they were built in the 70s, I guess, so maybe...
Yeah, they never go there anyway.
Everyone who pushed that through is long retired.
It's long, I guess
you're
you're
right.
right.
They should just check with Portland and see how they do it. They do like 2 a day or whatever.
Yeah, it's not like there's no one you can call, right?
It's not like you're an island of information.
Let's figure this out.
But they just check their little boxes. They come in, they got their sheet, and it's like...
not on the form, sir.
And it's different, too, when you tell, Miller Coors to go drop, $20,000 on something than when you tell El
And they're like, all right.
It's not open to go drop $20,000 on something.
There's a couple grand for your pocket.
Good point. Good point.
All my help came from calling Joel down at Strand or Jeremy at Eagle Rock, and that was about it. Those are the only guys I had to bounce questions.
Oh, I love Eagle Rock people.
So you guys are on Main Street. That means you have a tap room that's pretty lively.
Yeah. And we just opened a new space out in the back, which is awesome because when we first opened, our tap room was about 200 square
Probably
feet.
smaller than the room we're in right now.
About this big. And you put about 40 dudes in there drinking beer, it really gets a little steamy.
Yeah, it's like our old studios, man. We know.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
But we just opened up. We probably got about 1,200 square feet, 1,500 square feet. We got a big ass fan. We got a big walk-in. we're gonna go.
Man,
we got a fan now. And a window.
Well, the big ass fan. You know,
sorry,
the big ass fan.
Okay. The actual I see. What
Name brand. It's like a whole bucket list thing for us. You know, the first time I ever saw one of those, I was like, I'm gonna buy a big ass fan
one day.
One day.
You guys are rich, man.
Yeah.
Rob's like, not before we get another fermenter.
Yeah, exactly.
So you opened as a production brewery. Mm-hmm. You're still a production brewery,
right?
But with at that time no tasting room when you opened, or just a tiny one.
It took us 6 months or so to get tasting room.
Not quite. I think 4. Yeah, because and that was the health thing. You know, because health wouldn't give us a rating because I forget what we needed, but they wouldn't give us a rating and. We needed a rating, and then they were like, we don't care. And so then we just said, okay. Then we opened, and then we were just pouring beer. And
that's pretty difficult to not open with a tasting room. I recently heard that a production brewery like yourself, especially in the beginning, could make up to 70% of their revenue just selling out of a tasting room.
Dude, I had no idea. I thought tasting room was going to be me hanging out with a couple of my buddies drinking beer. That is a much more important part of the business.
Yeah, and most people now they build them up before they even order the brew equipment. They want to be able to.
I mean, in hindsight, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm the first guy to admit that. So.
I remember Jamil talking about this from Heretic, and I always thought he had picked a great location for his brewery in terms of being a production brewery, but I thought the same thing about a tasting room out there. I thought, well, who the fuck's going to go to that? And boy, was I wrong. I mean, the moment he opened a tasting room, he was busy. He has done nothing but expand his hours now.
People are totally willing to drive. It's incredible. I watch our sales all the time in tap room, and we average about 2/3 new credit card swipes. So that's not the same people from El Segundo coming all the time. That's people coming from somewhere else. So 2/3 all the time in the tap room.
So you're saving my information? You're working with the NSA? What's going on? What's going on here right now? I need to know.
We manage a business.
Well, the beers I've had of yours are all really good, so you're probably getting some new customers, I'm thinking.
I think we're getting people from all over.
Nice.
All over, yeah. I mean, I think we're starting to get a little bit of national attention. We're getting people looking for the beers and trading them out and sending them all over the place, and so that's always good. And being right there by LAX too. I mean, I think we see people coming through.
Oh yeah, it's a stop on the way.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre when you start seeing your beer getting reviewed in Pittsburgh or something.
Oh yeah,
what kind of shit was that in?
How the hell did it get there?
Just like Henry at Monkish has the sign, no MSG, no IPA. Do you guys have a sign up that says, no, you didn't leave your wallet here?
Good idea. And don't make the joke.
Yeah, go fuck off.
No wallet jokes.
Yeah, if we were smart.
So, the beer that we've gotten from you mostly has been in bottles as well. Did you initially invest in a bottling line, or?
No, we're still with the mobile bottling guy.
You are? Okay.
Yeah. So
what a brilliant concept that is.
It made life easy, and I mean, that was just one of those things, big ticket item that, wasn't affordable early on, but allowed us to get into bottles early. So
it's also a little terrifying because you're like, look at this giant, really expensive machine, and I have no idea how to use it at all.
Right. It shows up, and you just got to trust that he knows what the hell he's doing.
Well,
right?
There's a big barrier using. Bottling is where you really screw your beer up. Honestly,
yeah.
I mean, it's really easy, and with those Mahines, it's just kind of the way it is.
Sure. Is that what he has? That's what the mobile line is?
I mean, I don't know if he's got a nice lineup up in Seattle, right? Is that a Prospero, like a big old Prospero?
I don't know if it's a
Yeah, built into the back of a truck.
Or a Crone, maybe.
Right.
He's built in the back of a semi, and he just rolls up, and then they run a hose out into the truck, and
brilliant.
Off they go.
But LA is still such a small market for him that he's not going to invest in a
$1 million line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys
I think we're his biggest customer in LA. Yeah.
And we can't afford $1 million line.
You can't.
You're using the same bottler as Noble Ale Works, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. Us, Noble, Beechwood. And, the way I look at it, Julian down at Beechwood, that guy, he's
forget about it.
Pretty damn meticulous, I guess you could say. So if it's good enough for Julian, I know it's going to take it as good
Beechwood's
enough.
IPAs sell out in about 14 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's
now, the Noble guys, those are guys are fucking dummies.
Yeah. You always bottle after Beechwood, not Noble.
Yeah.
In the schedule. Yeah.
Whatever they're doing, don't.
Right.
Start trashing Evan now.
He would love it.
Oh, he would totally love it.
Do you guys know
a few weeks ago?
Has there ever been a problem with bottles where the mobile bottler had to take responsibility and eat a bunch of cost? I mean, he sounds like he kicks ass, but do you know if that's ever happened?
Well, probably not so much with us, really.
No, not so much in terms of eating cost. I mean, we do ask a lot of quality related questions and address issues like that come up with that kind of stuff. The whole thing with the bottling line, it's been invaluable in learning kind of what we want to do and what we want to be when we grow up, and kind of learning what we're getting from this thing. And then when we start looking at DO in the tank, then DO after bottling, and kind of learning lessons on how that's really working. It's kind of helping us formulate how we're going to go forward.
That's the big thing is DO, and we do all hoppy beer. I mean, we make a pale ale, we make 2 full-time IPAs, we make 3 full-time double IPAs. And, we really focus on freshness. And, these beers, they get past like 6 weeks. Yeah. And they really start fading. And if we could get the DO levels down to, sub...
That's the dissolved oxygen for
correct.
Listeners?
Yeah, dissolved oxygen. And that really beats up hop character really fast. I mean, really, really fast. Just kills shelf life. Yeah. And especially if you store it warm. I mean, that really just...
So you've had the Maheen tested... what you're getting?
Well, the Maheen's only rated to 150 parts per billion, which is, I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, you need it like sub 25.
You need like under 20.
Yeah, like under 20, and it's like so. Sometimes you get like 70, like okay, and then sometimes you get like 225, and that's really crappy, and so that's
there's variability, and we see it in our beer all the time. I mean, there's sometimes when we know that. It's just not holding up well. But then, for example, I was just up at a place up in Lake Arrowhead down in Southern Cal a few weeks ago, and I found 5-month-old 2.5 left, which was one of our double IPAs, and it drank fine. So I guess that was kind of a good day. But the whole idea is to get that variability out of it. So
can you kind of adjust your volume in that sense? Like you're only that you're moving beer, how it moves off the shelf, so you don't put out more than you don't want it sitting on the shelf. Is what I'm saying. So is this one thing you guys can adjust?
That
well, it's magical.
That is what I do essentially all the time, and it's really hard to manage. We're going to do so the first quarter of this year we did about 2,500 cases, and this quarter we're going to do about 5,500. So, wow. and that's what the really focusing on how to keep shelves fresh
and full,
and at the same time. And I can't really even do business with the larger chains because they don't even want to deal with me because I'm like, you can have like 19 days of stock. That's it. And they're like, what?
Go back to your playground, little boy.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with it. So it's been a bit of a struggle, but at the same time. What we saw, and it was that when we dropped beer, and it was like under a week old, it would just sell like crazy, And so people are hip to it, And we got the bottle dates right there. You can see it. It's part of the label, and so people know that fresh beer is just totally different, and that's why we started this whole Day One campaign this year. And we've done 5 now where we bottle and deliver the same day. And the response has just been astronomical.
Right.
Wow.
Well, it makes a strong statement to the distributor or the retailer that fresh matters.
Right. And we're able to do that on our own because we still self-distribute L.A., O.C., and San Diego.
Yeah, and Craft Beer Guild, who's marching up the coast. They're in San Diego. They're in Los Angeles now. They've been a really great partner. They're going to do about 30 stores we're doing Power Plant this Friday. And they're going to do 180 cases delivered that day.
Wow.
From Santa Barbara to Riverside to Temecula, which is, that's a pretty damn big area.
I love this idea. Yeah. Bottle today, you get it today.
Let me guess. I bet you don't have a place to store the bottles. Anyway, or do you?
No, we do. We got cold storage.
Okay. We just want to get it out.
I thought it was more of
it was problem solving,
creative marketing.
Yes. That's been true in the past for sure. It really came out of us talking to our really good retail partners, and them being like, man, I'll tell you what, like
I'll buy half of it myself.
Well, they would sell 3 cases over a weekend when it was super fresh, and so we just said to her, one of my sales guys said. What if we delivered it the same day? And we were like, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but let's try it. And we did this small little promotion with like 2 accounts where we delivered Hop Tanker the same day. Yeah. And people were waiting. It was like the Tuesday. It was like Tuesday afternoon, and people were waiting outside the bottle shop at like noon, wondering when the truck was going to get there. And we're getting and we're like, I mean, I don't know. Who are these people? This beer's been out for a year and a half. It's not a new beer. It's not like
but it's day one beer,
right?
Fresh is a flavor.
Those are the people who
it's definitely a flavor. Absolutely.
Those are the people in drum circles who don't have jobs, waiting at noon.
Sorry, I insulted your customer base, Tom.
It's a double-edged sword though, because we're kind of hanging our hat on the freshness thing, because we really do buy into that, and that's part of our brand now, but. Also, we're kind of starting to see this phenomenon where it's like, 3-week El Segundo, I want the new one. When the 3-week beer get old?
It's changing fast.
We had an account send back like 3 or 4 week old Citra, and we were just like at the very end of that batch, and we were bottling a new batch, and we had 15 cases left, and you know what, that retailer got a case. And it came back, and I was like,
interesting.
Oh, we've created a monster.
Oh yeah. Now. I mean, I would hope that they tasted it first, or they're just looking at a date and saying, no, not fresh enough.
You know, what we've done is we always are announcing our next bottling dates, and we're trying to run so that we run out in about 2 weeks. Okay. So we're out of beer in 2 weeks. And we tell people, like, okay, this is when we'll have it next. And some people are very good about ordering just the right amount, so they only have a couple bottles left on the shelf when we're delivering, or they're out. And so then they're like, oh, you're sending me the batch that I just bought, even though I know you just bottled fresh stuff.
I see.
And so,
damn you and your transparency.
But to be fair, they're doing as we've asked, where a lot of people will be like, I'll just get that extra case, even though it's going to take a little bit longer. On one hand, I want to reward them. On the other hand, I'm like, this is like shared responsibility. I'm trying. I'm trying, and I'm working as hard. Yeah.
Well, like you said, we've created a monster here, so we have fresh beer.
What size batches are you doing to kind of plan this every 2 weeks?
Well, it's gotten it's different for every beer. So most of the Citra, we're doing bottling every 3 weeks average or so, and that's Citra, Mayberry, and Hammerland, about that. Although Hammerland's about once a month flat, probably for the rest of the year.
About the day
just
one
volume,
just all the beers is what you're talking about. Yeah, not day one.
Yeah.
Oh, is day one a specific beer?
No, day one
just
is
the process. What's your brew system size?
Well, we've got a 15 barrel.
Yeah.
We've got 30s and 60s, so it varies per beer. Essentially.
So you'll do some double batches with IPAs and things like that to fill a 30.
We pretty much run. We run Mayberry, Citra. Hammerland, pretty much in the 60s, not more than full time. We probably have a tank and a half dedicated. 60 for those beers. We're on the Blue House IPA, the White Dog, and some of the other beers full time on the 30s, and then kind of mix in other things where we have room in the schedule.
Okay. Let's talk about this Mayberry IPA. It's in my glass. It's on tap here at the Hop Grenade if you want to come down and try it. Tell me about the beer. You can get as geeky as you want because our listeners want to know.
Mosaic-based IPA, lean body. What are we at alcohol-wise? We're
7.2.
7.2. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Mr. Cicero.
Is it all Mosaic?
This is Tom.
Rob's like, I make IPA.
It's not 100% Mosaic, is it?
It's not. No, none of our beers are 100% any hop, really, even though we have like a Citra Pale Ale, I think, honestly, it's...
The lies are coming out.
Exactly. No one's listening, right?
No.
We're not on the air. No.
Nobody knows.
No, I think the thing I say all the time is we try and make hops more themselves, and essentially what I mean is these hops, they sometimes struggle to fill in the whole experience of the palate. And so having some supporting cast of characters, we use a lot of Cascade, we use Chinook for bittering in almost all of our beers. But the dry hop is really mainly Mosaic, or is it all Mosaic?
No, it's almost all Mosaic,
but I mean, it's really Mosaic.
With Cascade,
you're tasting Mosaic.
Yep.
Like if you couldn't tell me what the other hops were in there.
They're just about that, yeah.
They're just there to kind of, because hops aren't really, I don't think, meant to be single. It's fun and it's a great way to experience things, but I really, Rob's whole ethos on hops is 1 or 2, maybe 3 for most of our beers, and then a supporting cast of characters, and that I think Mayberry is an awesome expression of Mosaic. You get its dankness, but it's not the amazing thing about Mosaic to me, because I'm a little afraid of dankness, honestly. I think not afraid, but just it can be a little overwhelming for me. But Mosaic isn't quite that way. It's like blueberry, and it's got a little of that stink to it.
More tropical.
Yeah, it's got some tropical notes. Blueberry is the one that just pounds for me.
Pops out.
Yeah, from Mosaic all the time. I just can't get past it, especially when it's super, super fresh.
Sure.
Just like blueberry muffins in there.
Yeah, and what Tom was saying too about trying to get the hops for show their contribution. It's always an approach that we do when we're designing a beer. Is the way I see it is anybody can add gobs of hops and make this big old hop bomb, and I just don't find that very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I really try to make it so the ingredients that we're using really do shine through in the end product. So I would challenge that, if somebody is, a hop expert, then they're going to be able to go through and pick out what we're brewing with in each beer. And I think that's what keeps it fun.
I also really like the concept, the description of filling in the holes, too. And I think you guys do that really well on all of your beers. I agree that with very few exceptions, a single hop beer is not really the way to go. I do think they're fun to try, and they're interesting, just like you said, Tom. But they leave, I guess, holes, like you're saying. It's this great description where the experience isn't very rounded, and there's a bunch of my palate. It just feels like it's missing something. It has sharp edges or just some missing points.
Right.
I do think that you guys, whatever you're doing to blend the 2 or 3 to fill in the rest of it, you're really good at it.
We take a lot of care trying to find what hops are going to play together well.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think usually we're pretty successful. It doesn't always work. Like I think about, Capel, we did a Racal-based IPA last year, and the first batch came out great, and then we thought, we would get smart and fill in this and this and that, and batch 2 just
and it ruined
wasn't as good. So
interesting.
Usually works, just not always.
Do you have some? You mentioned Cascade and Chinook, and I saw Tasty shaking his head for that too. You have some workhorse hops that can fill in the holes on almost anything. Is that how you?
It's not so much just variety based. I'm comfortable with Chinook, and I like Chinook. I like the characteristics it gives in terms of bitterness. As I don't find it too aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really comfortable in doing a recipe from scratch with that beer. With that hop, knowing what it's going to give. And also, I think in some cases it also supplements really well as a dry hop, as a supporting cast sometimes. And then same thing with Cascade. Cascade I use more kind of to fill the gaps, like Tom was saying, but also because we're Southern California beer, Cascade.
Yeah,
there should be some of that character. And
I
use
agree.
That,
Have you guys heard? Have you ever heard of Sierra Nevada?
Exactly.
Or Cascade.
We have been working on a Hop Grenade IPA. We talked about in the show a little while back. We're going to brew kind of a one-off beer with Heretic, actually. And for us, it was a no-brainer to look at the C hops. And, of course, we'll pick some others that are interesting, too. But, I find that maybe a lot of new breweries are going, well, no, it has to be Citra, and it has to be Mosaic, and it has to be this, and it has to be that. And we forget about how amazing the C hops are. You can still use, like you guys are doing, Mosaic, right? But let's fill in the blanks or have a little baseline with some Cascade, some Centennial. Right, Tasty? Like, we went right to those without a blink of an eye. Like, oh, they're not cool enough.
Yeah,
we didn't even think about that.
No, Centennial is our showcase hop in the beer we're making.
There you go.
Yeah, we make one. We make one that's Amarillo Centennial that we just put out in July. And
excellent.
It's one of my favorites we make, but to be fair, it's not the market's favorite beer.
Okay,
it's
not cool enough.
It's not, and it's slightly understated. It's not like so crushing out of the glass and like really in your face. But it's super pleasant.
Sure,
and it's a little piney and it's a little lemony and it's
drinkable, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
My favorite hops are the N hops. You heard of the N hops?
The N hops, no.
Yeah. The no hops, the none hops, the knock it off hops.
I think you mean the L hops. You just want the less hops. You don't want no hops. You want less hops. What about the base malt of this beer, the malt profile in general?
The Mayberry.
Do we put malt in this beer?
Yeah.
Is there malt in there?
There's water and hops.
It's pretty simple, right?
A lot of our IPAs are really simple. Grain bill. It's almost all 2-row. And we use a little bit of Dexter Pills, and that's about it.
Okay,
just to give a tiny bit of body, tiny bit of sweetness. And
this is our struggle with playing with new IPAs and putting different IPAs in the tap room and stuff, just to keep things interesting. It's like, well, what was that? I think it's Travis from Society says when he tastes beers, crystal malt is an off flavor. It's an off flavor.
That's his thing. By the way, when he says anything at all, that fucking
that's
guy.
all he says.
Then he says
that's
something like that. Yeah,
but he's adamant about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's kind of true though. I mean, we do make one that has some crystal malt in it. It's hard to sell. It's a great beer. It's awesome beer. I came from the East Coast.
That surprises me.
As soon as we start
actually.
making these balanced beers, it gets tough for us.
So we're like, well, we can use.
It doesn't sell itself the same way.
We can use Pilsner malt. What about rice?
How much lighter can we go? And we actually had that conversation this weekend too.
What did you just get bought out? Now you got to use rice.
Just trying to use something different, man.
Right.
Claremont, who's down in L.A. as well. They did their third anniversary beer was I think it was Cascade, Chinook, and Centennial rice IPA. And
it was 30% rice.
Man, it was
that was my favorite beer on Saturday.
Interesting.
On the street. Yeah, it was awesome.
Okay.
And the term is partnered, not bought out.
Not bought out, partnered.
Stop being a jerk.
Merged.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Cal Ale yeast. You guys, yeah.
We use that one for everything.
Okay. It's good yeast.
It's simple. That's kind of just the approach we took in general. Is I went with what I was comfortable with and what I was going to get predictable results with.
Yeah.
And it translates well to the styles of beers that we do. So you can make it as complicated as you want, but you don't have to. So
sure.
We just keep one strain of yeast in house, and it keeps life simple.
And you guys are self-proclaimed all hoppy beers. Distributors must love you, because that's what everybody wants.
We only have one, and we don't give them any beer. Well, no, we have two. We don't give either of them.
And
beer.
they don't get any beer anyway. Because these new breweries open, and they're like, some of them, not very many. They go, we're not going to brew an IPA, and I see the distributors' eyes roll back in their head, and retailers too. They're like, we get it, we get the stance you're taking. But give us an IPA because it'll sell.
I think in most circumstances, you almost kind of have to have one because that's what the market is asking for.
I mean, Monkish has their whole thing, right? No IPAs. Right. They make like 4 hoppy beers.
Right.
Call it. I mean, you don't have to call it an IPA. And the brewery's whole thing is like, oh, it's great. We're not going to make an IPA. We're just going to make an IPA. Yeah, we're going to make an IPA with a lager yeast and call it something else.
IPL.
Yeah.
Well, there's one brewery that we know that I don't want to name their name because it's a story that I don't know if it's for the air, but they have a dry hop saison, lower gravity, and they had an account that renamed it Belgo Amera Session IPA. And overnight, it became that bar's top seller.
Well, of course.
40% increase in sales because of the word Session IPA.
Why not just call it Saison IPA, and people will just assume it's a typo?
That's a good question.
Just call it
But I mean, it's nowhere in the realm of an IPA.
Right. And Belgio Amero
Session IPA, which I fucking hate that term.
Yeah, so do we.
We don't make a session.
Get rid of the term craft beer and just call it American IPA. That's everything.
I love the stout American IPA.
Right, yeah. Everything is IPA.
I like this conversation because I don't fault brewers for changing the name of a beer.
Yeah.
If it helps, if they increase sales by 40%, how do you not change the name of that beer? You have to. And who gives a shit? It's the same beer that you made anyway.
The idea of naming a style is so the consumer has an expectation of what they're getting.
But the consumers are idiots, and if they're going to give you more money, then fuck it.
I mean, honestly, Belgo,
I don't disagree.
Belgo Session IPA.
Yeah.
I would be like, I wonder if that's kind of like a hoppy saison.
Yeah. You're going to make one tomorrow, aren't you?
It's already made.
We don't let Belgian yeast into our brewery.
No, huh?
No,
Yeah, they're xenophobic.
You said all Cal Ale, right? 100%
Well, we've
Chico.
done the saison, we've done the Mexican lager, but that's we play with the other yeast once in a while, but for day in day out, it's just the 01.
You guys why don't you have a Vienna lager on all the time?
Oh
It's El Segundo Brewing Company.
Yeah, no, man, we had one called Casa Azul.
Nice.
House. It was
Do you
perfect.
really want the boring business explanation for that one?
Yes.
No.
Are you kidding me? Have you heard the show before?
It won't sell, right?
No, it does sell.
No,
Yeah?
it sells just fine. But think about it. I mean, we're doing all ales. We're turning beers in about 3 weeks or so.
It's a capacity.
So we're going to lager a beer. I mean, it really costs us an
mind-
entire another batch of beer.
You mind paying $9 a pint?
Yeah.
Would that be all
And
right?
we got to sell it for that, so you lose.
No, because I can get Negro Modelo for like
What, are you selling that beer here? What?
You know that hop yields are down this year, though. So next year you'll be making the Vienna lager.
You might be going back to
Yeah.
No, that's okay. We have contracts. I think my house is on the line for like 5-6 years with the contract. So
You've never been shorted with one of your contracts yet?
We got short of Amarillo last year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
What happens then? They give you money back in your contract, or what?
You don't pay it up front. You just don't get the hops.
Oh, I see.
So
You're
they'll
just
offer you
screwed.
something else maybe, but that's about it.
Okay.
We have great hops from Papua New Guinea this year.
We got.
I have Neo Mexicanas.
That's right.
But it's all organic, so you'll be fine.
I've been recommended Summit as a appropriate substitution for Citra when Citra was getting shorted.
Is that right?
Just dry hop like crazy.
Have you had
that.
Summit before?
I love it.
Yeah.
I live on it.
It's like onions and garlic.
It's like cat piss. I mean, the onions
Much
and
like
garlic.
Citra.
Onions and garlic is being nice as far as I'm concerned.
We use Summit in some beers.
Yeah,
We
and
use
small
Summit
doses.
as a
Yeah, you
tiny
wanna-
supplement for Nelson and
Yeah,
Mike.
what about like
I
an
think it works great.
80% dry hop Summit beer?
Love it.
No.
That's the appropriate response.
All right, let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we've got more beer to try. In fact, we're going to get into the double IPA zone, I think. Because we got one on tap and then some in a bottle, and might even be a growler around here somewhere. So hang in there. It's the session. If you want to call in, 888-401-BEER or hit the chat button on the homepage.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
Oh, no, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink has run.
Well, if it's the pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com. For nearly 40 years, one organization has had your back. The American Homebrewers Association. Are you a member? Why not? Join the more than 40,000 brewers who enjoy all the American Homebrewers Association has to offer. Like Zymergy Magazine, in print and online, plus the Zymergy app. Zymergy is the leading publication for amateur brewers around the world. Supporters also get member deals at their local breweries, bars, and homebrew shops. These alone quickly pay for your membership. You'll also get great member-only resources at homebrewersassociation.org and access to AHA events like the National Homebrewers Conference and the National Homebrew Competition. The American Homebrewers Association promotes the hobby of homebrewing, protects the interests of homebrewers, and brings beer lovers together. Become a member today. It costs less than a batch of beer and gives back so much more. Visit homebrewersassociation.org. Three-time Ninkasi Award winner and Grandmaster Judge Gordon Strong invites you on a guided journey of what's new in the world of homebrewing. Modern homebrew recipes, exploring styles, and contemporary techniques available now from Brewers Publications. Gordon brings you specific advice and sensory profiles for as-brewed, award-winning beers with delicious variations to get your creative juices flowing. This is more than just a book of recipes. It sets brewers on the path to discovering what's new in the world of homebrewing. AHA Director Gary Glass says, if you want to enter competitions or just learn more about styles that you might not have experience with, this book is going to help you tremendously. By emulating what Gordon does, you're going to make better beer. Modern Homebrew Recipes, Exploring Styles and Contemporary Techniques by Gordon Strong. Available right now from brewerspublications.com and find brewing retailers near you.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back. We're putting out day one radio right now.
Fresh as it gets. It's happening right now.
It's happening right
I hope you're listening. unless you're listening in the future, in which case...
It's happening in the future.
Oh, I'm sorry. That show's 2 weeks old. Not interested.
Yeah. Oh, those El Segundo guys? Old news. That was yesterday. Yesterday's program. Welcome back. We're talking to El Segundo Brewing Company here. We got Rob and Tom in the studio with us hanging out. And their beer in our glasses, which is just fantastic beer. Right now, I'm drinking your Hammerland Double IPA.
Hammerland!
You're going to give Rob a heart attack. I can see it.
I can taste your heart attack.
That's very Tom.
And frankly, I have always wanted somebody to die on air, so I'm not going to tell you to stop.
I'll work on it. Was on me.
Let's get him like a big plate of nachos or something.
I should start ordering all our guests just horrible food for that. Now, Hammerland is the beer that you guys won the Double IPA Fest at the Bistro up here?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. For those of you across the country, and maybe you've heard brewers talk about this, and you certainly heard us talk about it, but the Double IPA Fest is kind of a big deal around here. It started out as a small festival, and Vic down there at the Bistro has just really built it up into something that people really love. And so now brewers from all over enter beer. It's still a tiny little festival, but the competition is pretty fierce. A lot of beers entered.
It's incredibly fierce.
100 or so.
There was 100 or so. Okay,
yeah, it was about 100 this year. But I think the most amazing thing about it is, the first time I ever came up here to enter beer into that, he had like a Budweiser trailer outside that was storing all the beer cold. And I opened it up, and I was like, "Oh, look! There's a 3-day-old Pizza Port beer, and there's a 5-day-old Firestone beer, and a 4-day-old Green Flash beer, and a 3-day-old Stone." Everybody
really stacking the deck there.
Oh yeah, everybody just really goes after it. So that's why the competition is so gnarly.
Yeah, Fathead won several times. Cole would fly in with the keg.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Just bring it in fresh.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal, and there are 2 awards given, if I remember correctly. Beers actually get judged by judges in the morning, and so there's that award, and then there's the People's Choice Award. Both of them highly coveted. Both are awesome awards to win. And you guys with yours won the People's Choice?
No, we won Best of Show.
You won the Best of Show?
Right. Yep.
Amazing. And were you in attendance?
I was not.
I was homesick on a couch.
Okay.
Yeah, I was dusting my son's room.
Okay, I was so out of it.
Were you keeping busy waiting for the results, or that's just what?
No,
Greg called me and I picked up the phone. I was so out of it. He said, "We won." I said, "We won what?"
Yeah, he's like, what are you talking about?
Pins and needles here.
What are we doing?
His fresh meth shipment just came in.
He's dusting the room. So you guys, you found out through a tweet or something?
I got a text from one of my guys with them wearing the medal.
Wow.
And pretty much lost it.
Okay.
Pretty much just that was it. It was, my wife, my poor son, he heard the word fuck a lot of times.
Yeah.
We fucking won!
He's like, wow, my room must be dirty, Dad.
Finished.
How many years had you been entering the beer in that
was
competition?
3. That was the 3rd year we entered.
Wow.
2 or 3.
Had it placed before?
I think that's the third year. No, we'd never placed before. I'd come up, and I've known about the Bistro Double IPA Fest for years, and I'd never been. And I was like, we need to enter beer into this thing.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is that beer wasn't even slated to go. We were going to do Mayberry.
Yeah,
and then I think you were gone. And I was tasting beer, and I
was there. We tasted together. Yeah,
this is the one that we should go with, and sent that up kind of on a lark. And
because we fill the kegs. I mean, we generally fill the kegs Friday morning and then get it on the truck and send it up. And Hop Tanker was supposed to come. And Hammerland was only just freshly named. We didn't even have a name for the damn thing. We just had an open.
We didn't even have a name for it.
We had an open tank.
It was just double IPA.
Well, we had an open tank the week of Christmas or something, and Rob's like, "Well, what should we brew?" And I was like, "Well, just I don't know. What hops do we have?" He's like, "Mosaic and Simcoe." And I said, "Well, just brew a double IPA with those hops. It'll be great."
There you go.
And so it was 3 weeks old. So I would have normally never thought, but I was like, we both just looked at each other like, this beer's just way better.
Okay. It just came out great.
And so it went on the truck instead, and
you won.
And we won.
So now we think it's a big deal, us beer fans. Does it affect the brewery at all? I mean, what happens when you win the Bistro Double IPA Fest?
I think we heard that a lot this weekend up in Sacramento.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
People know it.
People know it. Up here more than down there, honestly.
Yeah, it gets more attention now.
It gets more attention up here.
Well, I consider it a statewide double IPA competition, basically.
If you look at the list of breweries that are
everybody's
there,
represented.
It's everybody.
Right?
I mean, I say this all the time. I would rather win that medal for double IPA than GABF. For
Interesting.
Sure.
Wow.
It's you're competing the best of the best packaged in kegs, so you don't have that extra option. It's really just about the beer.
Clean and
you're
nice.
competing amongst your peers. I mean, that's who you're making.
Right.
That's the market you're in. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, you go to that festival, and everybody's there. Everyone is coming by to check it out and drink the beer and do all that.
What about sales-wise? Does the phone start ringing off the hook? I got to have this beer now?
Yeah, it
we can't
was
get
ridiculous.
you your beer in New Jersey or wherever you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, that happens, too. You do get to see that. But, I mean, we played it up. We went. We really promoted the win big time because I know what a big deal it is.
Sure.
And so Beer Paper LA, which is a great publication down in LA, they did an article about the win, but also just about the festival because I was realizing as I was saying we won the Bistro, and people would be like, the what?
The what? Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's me.
when really in our world it's kind of a bigger win than winning GABF because it really is against the styles of beer, the style of IPA that we're doing. So,
sure.
Where GABF, if you look at BJCP, the beer's not going to win. Probably.
No, it might be the apple winner out of oranges. Your apples out here. These are our West Coast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fine beer. It's tasting great in a keg right now too here at the Hop Grenade. Again, you guys, it's a really filled out beer. There's no holes in it. It's not too edgy or sharp. It's not too bitter. It's a double IPA, so I know that's maybe a dumb thing to say, but it's not very bitter.
Well, our bitterness is low. We stay on the low end of the IBU spectrum.
No, good for you.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, Doc, why don't you stop?
How many times have you won Bistro?
Yeah, Doc.
Palate Wrecker, what a monster of a beer, and what an amazing revelation that you could do that to a beer, and it would still be awesome. But
but it's not so much of a palate wrecker.
It's not. But I'm just saying, that was the thing. That Stone and Green Flash and all those guys, back in the 90s and then the early part of 2000s bitterness was big. It was all about bitterness. How bitter can you make a beer? Arrogant Bastard. I mean, it really is to me, is it just not even the beer so much so, but just the thought behind the fact that it's oh, you don't like it because it's bitter?
Yeah.
Fuck you. We don't care.
Right.
That was really the whole idea. And, the more I came from wine, so when I moved to California from Philadelphia, I started drinking Racer 5, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this beer is so hoppy and so bitter. And now I've really come further to the West Coast, thing. But with the new hop varieties coming out, Citra and Simcoe and Mosaic, these hops are about aroma. They're not about bitterness. And you need bitterness as a foil to keep it dry and to keep it clean and to finish well. but it's really about the aroma. That's what people want.
Aroma and flavor.
Yeah, you hear it all the time, though, as people are coming around trying IPAs. Well, I don't like IPAs. Well, how come? Because I don't like the bitterness. We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I like a good firm bitterness in an IPA, but I don't want to taste it 30 minutes later. So
exactly.
When we're beers, that's I want to make beer that I want to drink. So
So here at the Hop Grenade, we have a couple of formulas that dictates what size glass we pour your beer in, and one of them would be the alcohol content, and the other would be like the cost of beer to us sometimes, because we still want people to buy an affordable beer. So it goes in this glass, if you're watching on the video, which is like our 10-ounce type of a goblet. For me, in general, when I look up at our menu, which tells you what kind of glass your beer is going to be served in, I usually avoid anything in a goblet. Because to me, it's either going to be too high alcohol or it's going to be too bitter. It's going to be somebody's double or triple IPA that costs a fortune, and it's going to be too bitter for me. So I avoid them, usually. I go for the pints, right? This is fantastic. I would order this about 3 or 4 times a night. And then I would take a cab home.
If you were still walking.
Because this one is not a palate wrecker. And I guess what I mean is a lot of times when I order something that's in this size glass, it is kind of a palate wrecker. And our customers love it, by the way. They look for that and do the opposite. Those are the ones that they order. I just mean me personally. But this one's really nice. I would just put this in my IPA repertoire and call it a day. Right, Tasty?
That's the first beer I had tonight, and it did not wreck my palate.
Yeah.
I thought it was very balanced.
False advertising. Well, it's funny you mentioned people want aroma hops. I mean, that's kind of what the growers are shifting to in like the Yakima Valley and stuff. Aroma hops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for.
That's where people are looking for their flavor in their beer is late. Yeah.
What's your first edition hop on this? You're doing something just that you don't care about to get IBUs, right?
The bittering hop on this?
Yeah. What's your bittering hop?
Simcoe on this beer.
Simcoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so this one, we usually use, like we said, Chinook, but this beer is Simcoe.
Simcoe.
Yeah.
And then all of your late editions are what? Simcoe again and Mosaic?
Simcoe, Mosaic, and a little bit of Cascade, I believe.
Okay.
Or maybe Amarillo.
It's your beer, man.
I have to go back and look.
Go back and look. And is it mostly late edition?
It's almost all late edition. We don't do very much, mid-boil editions at all. It's like Whirlpool, maybe 5 minutes. That's about it.
Okay.
It's got great aroma. What'd you dry hop with?
Simcoe and
some more Simcoe. Okay.
Simcoe and Mosaic.
Yes. It really came about.
You got good Simcoe.
Yeah.
Do you do a warm dry hopping, or is it crashed?
60 degrees.
60 degrees?
60 degrees. It's single dry hop. We'll blast with CO2 2 to 3 times during dry hop over 5 to 6 days.
So you agitate the hops with CO2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a lot of guys recirculate, but I'm so paranoid of picking up any oxygen there that we'll just hook up CO2 line to the racking arm and just rotate it back and forth several times over a lot of several minutes. Kind of try to get some motion in the tank to kind of disturb it.
Why do you go through the racking arm instead of right through the bottom of the cone?
Just because you're getting some hop settling on the angled sides of the cone, so you kind of sweep that thing back and forth, and at least you can get the area that the racking arm gets.
Sure.
Okay.
I had a funny thing about that, because a lot of the brewers around, and I'm the one that's always going around and talking to other brewers, and you're always trying to refine your process, and I'm pretty, even though I do sales and distro, I'm pretty close to the production process, and so I kept saying to Rob, like, a lot of guys doing research, like we could cut dry hopping down a couple of days, we could do this, and keep re-talking, and so we talked over a couple of months, and then one time I was like, we should really try it, and Rob looked over to me and he goes, "You like the beers?"
That's a good answer.
And I was like, all right, I'll just shut up.
A good answer.
So with the CO2 agitation, you don't worry about driving off more aromatics, or just the agitation you get more than you're losing?
I absolutely think you get more than you're losing. That doesn't even cross my mind anymore. Early on, absolutely did. And but I don't see it impacting our beers.
Well, it's in a closed tank, right? You're adding CO2 volume at the same time, right?
But it's still bubbling through, I'm sure. But that whole theory of stripping aroma, I'm half sold on that. I think there probably is some impact, but I've never noticed anything major. And as we're learning and been getting better over the years, there was a lot of times early on when we would have to bleed some off, and I know you're getting some outgassing and. It didn't impact the beers too terribly.
Okay.
I understood your answer, but what do you think about capping it and adding like 5 psi at the same time you're like in part of the research. I know that extra pressure would help the beer clear faster. I know that. And
well, at that point in the process, we're not even really worried about.
You're already clear.
Well, we're not even clear there. We're not even worried about that because, we will have done a diacetyl rest, and the beer's still really cloudy. We dry hop at 60 degrees. We'll do that, and we don't do any filtering. We crash it after dry hopping, and we'll do biofine later. But at that point, at that point, I'm not super concerned about clarity.
Right.
When you are doing the agitation, is the tank sealed, or are you just letting it gas off through the blow-off?
We'll seal it when we're doing it, and then we'll gradually vent it back down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We always keep it at a couple pounds of positive pressure. But.
Gotcha.
So one thing I saw in my notes that I thought was a nice, honest answer from you, Rob, is that in the beginning, coming from the homebrew side to the pro side, is that you had a little trouble with carbonation.
Oh, yeah. I screwed everything that I could possibly screw up. And
I hadn't really thought about that, about what a big change that would be, because in homebrewing it's pretty simple. We have this little keg, and we just force carbonate, and we're done, right?
Life is easy.
So what happened when you went pro? What is the process?
I got rich.
yeah, that wasn't part of it. But no, I started really simple, kind of try to learn by doing. So, the very first beer we did was a very simple pale ale. It was 2-row and dextro pills, Chinook Cascade. That's it. Very predictable ingredients. You should know what you're getting. So I'm first guy to admit I'm not a world-class technical brewer. I think I make an okay recipe, but I don't think, I'm the world's greatest technical brewer. So I learn a lot as we go.
Okay.
And so, we kind of did that first beer that should be pretty predictable and kind of learn where we, what we're going to get from our system. That's kind of the approach we take, is just learn it by doing it.
Got it. Okay. Rob, but how do you, so in a pro system, I don't know that I've ever even asked this question of an interview in 10 years, maybe a little bit with people who do natural carbonation. How do you carbonate the beer? Where is it carbonated?
It's carbonated in the bright tank.
Bright tanks,
we crash it, and then just hit it with, there's a carb stone, and we have a process based on the gravity of the beer and the temperature and, how much we're going to hit with CO2.
Okay.
And we have the ZOM to measure it. But you were asking, how do we learn? And it's I always tell people that, making beer is still making beer. If you can make good beer at home, I think you can make better beer on a professional system because you have more controls.
Okay.
The stuff that caught me up was things that you don't do as a home brewer. Home brewer, you buy, a new $5 vial of yeast every time you're going to pitch it. You don't worry about it. But managing yeast was something I jacked that up so many times.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're doing okay now, but it took a while.
Which is the most important part, right? So
it's also kind of expensive every time you're fucking it up.
I bet. Yeah. You got to get that new pitch. Oh yeah.
And then the other thing is carbonation. We send out beers, overcarbed, undercarbed, and
Rob likes beers carved at 2.3, and I like beers carved at 2.6. That's really where it comes down to. And we had the argument over and over, and I kept being like, "Look, this is undercarb. Look, this is undercarb. Look, this is undercarb." He's like, "No, it's good. It's good. This is the way we're sending it out."
Is that a big enough difference that consumers can tell the difference between 2.3 and 2.6?
Yeah,
it is. Okay.
Yeah, I think by the time we're in keg and bottle, we're somewhere in the middle, probably slightly towards the higher side.
All right.
Yeah. Somewhere over 2.5. 2.5 to 2.65 is where we really want it. Where I like it is where it starts prickling your tongue, where you start feeling the carbonation.
Okay.
And Rob likes it a little lower than that. But in the end, when we're making these crazy aroma-driven beers.
Right, you want to get it jumping out of the glass.
And when you look at the specs, and I think it says 2.5 or something like that for IPA, and Rob's like, well, I think, we're in at 2.5, and we bought the ZOM, and we shook it, and it was 2.3. and then the second batch, we did it again blind, and Rob's like, it's right at 2.5, 2.3.
Got it.
It took us a couple years before we could afford the ZOM and really figure out what we were doing.
And that is, I don't know if you know what a Zomennagel looks like.
No.
But
it's
the most ridiculous looking thing. It's like a stainless tube, and it's got this piston in the bottom and this hooky thing at the top that bleeds beer out, and little handles. And you shake it. You fill it with beer, and you shake it, and it tells you how much carbonation is in it. And that thing costs, $3,000
wow.
or something like that? Yeah.
Well, the thing that's scary about that, too, is, between myself, Matt, Todd, and Anthony, who are my brewers, we can all take samples, use the prescription process that they give you and get slightly different readings. So it's
interesting.
A lot of user, there's a lot of
art going in play there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing with craft brewing and small brewing and stuff like that. I mean, you listen to the early guys. You listen to like Fritz Maytag. We used to listen to Fritz Maytag in Sacramento at the conference, and they're talking about the stuff they were talking about. It was like, I think that was a little scary. Actually, I'm not sure you should have been doing that.
I've also seen their like antique brewing equipment that they have down there.
Well, apparently
it's
now
medieval.
The coating that they were using on the inside.
Yeah, apparently now it is
frightening.
like way better than it was back in the late '60s.
Asbestos steam.
But
That's basically something like that.
Asbestos filtered.
yeah, it's a great filter medium.
But it's amazing. It's amazing what the difference is between the like, oh, you're a craft brewer and you want to measure this. Here's this thing, and at the time you think, oh my god, it's so crazy ass expensive just to do that. But it really doesn't do it that well, and you're like, well, what's the next version? It's 10 times as fucking expensive.
Right.
We're still not that good, so.
And it's still like that. Like,
but you get a feel for your equipment too after a while, right? Like I know you guys talk about the beginning and having to measure it, and now you measure it, but and maybe missing by a couple volumes. But after hundreds of batches, don't you start to just know what you have to do?
They've got yeast management and carbonation pretty much nailed down. You know, I mean, it varies a lot. You know, it's stuff you don't think of. You're like, oh, we filled the tank up a little bit more than normal. Like we got a really good yield, and then carbonation takes a little bit longer, and then
I see.
You know, your normal process, your normal process just doesn't get you quite there.
That makes sense.
Do you guys really pay a lot of attention to like the yeast cell counts of when you're repitching? Because I know a lot of like with IPA brewers, it's more like they're more concerned about underpitching than necessarily overpitching. It's just like, well, we make sure there's enough.
We're pitching by volume.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing cell counts right now. Although we have the equipment, we're starting to pay more attention right now, but historically we haven't done that.
But when you say you pitch by volume, you're pitching by
we have a gradiated 5-gallon bucket or whatever.
But how thick is that? The thickness might vary.
Well, we'll let it settle so we know exactly how thick, how much thick slurry we have. Okay. We adjust, and it's based on our experience, the performance of our fermentations in the past, and we'll adjust the pitch for the gravity of the beer that we're doing.
As long as you do it the same way every time, you just look at the result.
Yeah. And we have a chart on the wall, for gravity and how much we're going to pitch. So we never really go cone to cone. We go cone to fridge, let it settle out, and then to cone, so we know exactly.
So it's a clear container so you can see the depth of the cake?
Exactly.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about this other beer in our glass before we take another break here. We got now it's the Hop Tanker that you guys brought out for us. Another double IPA. And you thought this was going to be the one you'd send to the bistro, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, this is the one that has, before Hammerland came around, this was our most popular beer. And it's a big giant Nelson bomb.
Nelson,
honestly. Yeah. It's 6 weeks old, Nelson, so it's basically trash at this point.
I don't think it's trash at all. I think it's nice.
So we gave it to you.
So we brought it to the radio show to talk about. It's good because nobody listens.
No, we just we don't make this beer as often anymore, so it's hard to get out. But I wanted to bring something.
What's
different.
The ABV?
9.2.
Yeah, it tastes like every bit of that.
It does?
Because it's warmed up.
Yeah.
And
it's a little warmer. Yeah, it's showy. It's pretty showy. It's a pretty showy beer anyway.
Feels like it, too.
Yeah, the booze definitely shows in this one a little bit more than the Hammerland. Cool. And, I mean, the first time the thing I always tell people is, like, the first time I ever tasted this beer, we just brewed it. And Rob brought me over to the Bright Tank and hands me a glass off of the tank, and I looked at him and I was like, dude, you overdid it. It's too much.
you overdid it, man.
And then all the reviews from everyone were like, this is the most amazing beer ever.
Turns out that's what everybody wants. I know where my
palate is. Yeah,
that's always your assessment with Nelson-based beers, though.
Yeah,
that's too much.
Well, I think given the progression of the beers that we have tasted of yours tonight, you could now serve me anything and it will taste the same. Because now I do believe my palate might be wrecked.
Well, we got Power Plant, just not here, unfortunately. But that one's 11.1, so
wow.
You would taste that one.
Did you say too much on that one?
No, it's a little different. The booze is higher, obviously, 11.1. It hides pretty well, but the booze is there, but it's what Mosaic, Simcoe. This is the only one that we do like a giant cocktail of hops. This is Mosaic, Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, Cascade, Chinook.
Chinook bittering.
So it isn't so dank the way Nelson is. Like Nelson to me, it's nice now for me because it's 6 weeks old. So it gets a little it gets like this orange marmalade thing going on that I quite like.
It's much more subtle, though.
Yeah, it's way more subtle.
Like
when this beer is fresh, it is fucking cat box all up in my face. Like I just cannot.
Good cat box.
Yeah, but like a really good cat box.
Like, oh, still cat box. Look at that cat. He just pissed in that box over there.
Let's let it mellow out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I feel like that onion garlic cat piss thing for me is something that I'm really sensitive to.
Yeah, me too, man.
And so when I get the beers that are that way, I'm like in my bathroom. Like I'm drinking the beer and I'm not actually there, but I'm in the bathroom scooping the box. Like,
Feels like that.
Onion garlic cat piss, I drink a glass of that.
I always like hearing about beers like that start out that way when you guys taste them at the brewery and they're fresh, though, and everyone's like, ah, shit, we screwed this one up. And then a week or two later, it's one of the best beers you've ever brewed, then you really like it. I love those stories because beer does change a lot pretty quickly, right?
Especially IPA. I mean, the aroma in IPA changes.
And especially early on. I mean,
especially early on. In the first 2 weeks, it changes remarkably. And the bigger the beer, the more it changes, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, that's what's so amazing is I'm almost considering power plant like kegging like 10 days out or so before Bistro this year because when it first lands... No one listened to this, and please come to our day one on Friday. No, day one's the best. Day one's absolutely the best.
Come and buy them. Just wait a week for
it. Well, the day one thing is so cool though because if you come and you like
you taste it that day and then taste it 10 days later.
Every day. I mean, you can't crack 22 ounces of an 11.1%. Triple IPA every day for 10 days. I wouldn't challenge accepted. Yeah, I mean, come to the brewery and have 4 ounces every day.
There you go. Yeah,
I mean, but it's so interesting to pour a couple ounces every day and be like, oh, that's so weird. Like that's totally different. Yeah. Or the hops like die off for a day or two. Like where you just like you don't even really get the aroma. And it's like, what the hell's going on? Oh, and it's back. Great, awesome. So that's really fun. It is amazing how much the aroma compounds.
And also in process too in the tanks. You know, we've learned. You know, like I said, we're learning everything as we went along. But the aroma, you know, in the tank will change day by day. And there's been times where like, you know, we're 4 days out from where we're supposed to be, you know, transferring and packaging, and it's like, oh shit, there's nothing there. There's no aroma, and I'm going to this panic, and you know, 6 days later, everything is okay. And you know, now we've kind of learned, you know, you don't panic. You kind of trust your process. You trust your ingredients. You trust
they're in there.
And, yeah, it's in there, and so, you know, it's amazing. But it can literally. I mean, maybe it's in our minds. I don't know, but we've seen beers turn overnight. It's incredible.
See, this is the part of the interview that I enjoyed with Henry from Monkish talking about this process, where he freaks the fuck out and he's miserable and he's so stressed out about it because of what you're talking about. And I do think eventually, right, we have to just relax. The beer's going to be fine. It's going to be all right. You got to learn that, though.
And there's this thing, and I mean, I've had brewers roll their eyes at me when I say this, but there's this part that we call the hop trough, and I swear it's real, where these beers right after dry hopping, maybe 3 days in, are just ripping, and it's like, oh my god, that's it. And then for some period of time, maybe the next 5 to 7 days, that aroma goes away, like it's in the trough, and then it comes back with a vengeance, a few days after packaging. And
what a strange thing you wouldn't predict.
I'm crazy, but we've seen it over and over and over.
Yeah, I think it is.
Maybe physics is just different in El Segundo. I don't know. But it really, it's the truth.
El Segundo's a strange place, man.
It's too close to the refinery.
Well, are your fermenters pretty narrow and tall, or are they pretty?
They're just your standard off the shelf,
pretty squatty,
Marks,
like typical.
Yeah, 60-degree cone from Marks and Premier. We have a mix.
All right, it's Rob Croxall and Tom Kelly from El Segundo Brewing Company. Thanks for sharing beer with us today. I hope you'll hang out a little more if you don't have anywhere to be.
Happy to.
We got to do a little beer news and get on to some other things that we're going to do tonight. We're going to take ourselves a quick break now, but the beer has been awesome. What is it? ElSegundoBrewing.com. People can go check out more right now.
That's the one.
All right, ElSegundoBrewing.com. You can go look at that, and you might meet them walking around GABF next week and see them there, or go see them at the tasting room in El Segundo. What's the address?
140 Main Street.
There we go. Right on Main Street.
Right on Main Street.
Look at that.
258 busy Main Street in El Segundo.
Nice. All right. Go check it out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got some beer news to do, and we might drink some more beer with the El Segundo guys. And hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Say hello to my little friend.
You've heard about White Labs Pure Pitch yeast. Pure Pitch is yeast grown right in its final packaging. That means yeast that has never been exposed to the environment. And White Labs Pure Pitch yeast for homebrewers is now available to everyone at homebrew retailers nationwide. Easy to use, perfectly sized, and ready to pitch. White Labs yeast packaged using their FlexCell process ensures the purest yeast on the market. Visit whitelabs.com to learn more about Pure Pitch, FlexCell technology, and how it's created. Then visit a homebrew retailer near you for your own perfectly sized package of Pure Pitch yeast. And you can say hello to your own little friend. www.whitelabs.com. When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SanaClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't suck.
welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. For those of you who are listening live, we had a nice long dinner break.
Yeah.
Maybe the best dinner we've ever had on one of our shows.
Yeah. Those are some good meatballs.
Phenomenal.
Spaghetti and meatballs, right?
At a catered event.
It was really nice.
Don't forget the artisanal bread.
And artisanal bread.
Bread was very good.
I didn't even eat the pasta, I'm going to be honest.
You didn't? You just went straight for the bread?
Just bread.
Bread and balls.
Sauce and
bread and balls.
Yeah.
Meatballs have
what
like
she
raisins in them. Who made the food for us?
Rachel Zavella.
Okay.
Yeah.
She killed it.
She's executive chef over at the Growler in Danville.
Oh, right.
But she set up other menus other places as well. She's pretty good.
Well, those Danville people know how to
big
eat.
Deal.
Yeah, that was nice food right there. I think we might need more of her at the Hop Grenade.
She be down there.
She makes charcuterie,
She
too.
likes yeah.
Like, that's her thing.
Well, that's your thing, too. That's
it's
right.
my thing. We didn't realize it was our thing
All right,
together.
Next time it'll be charcuterie.
Oh.
Bevo does a great job for dinner also.
I think she does a great job at dinner. That's for sure.
Oh, I'm not offended. This was really good.
She's totally lying.
Well,
I was looking at her face when you guys were talking. And
yeah, I mean, ordering Togos is different. I'm just saying.
I was just trying to be nice. It wasn't honest.
Shut the fuck up,
Shut
Beardy.
the fuck up, Beardy.
Thank you. All right, so we got a few things left to do. We still got the El Segundo boys hanging out with us. In fact, I'm drinking another Mayberry IPA because I figured I can't drive home anyway. I might as well keep enjoying good beer. So I got another one. I really like this IPA. So I'm going to have that. We got to do a little beer news. Before we do that, don't forget to go over to beersmith.com right now. Right now, you get your free 21-day trial of the Beersmith home brewing software. Actually works for pro brewing, too. You can do almost anything you need to do with that software. You can do all your calculations, stuff you didn't even know you needed to do. Go to beersmith.com, get your free 21-day trial so you don't have to take my word for it. You can get you don't have to pay any money. You can just forget about it if you don't like it. But you're pretty much going to like it, which is why he does it. Go over to beersmith.com. Do you?
Absolutely.
You use Beersmith?
Yep, have since I started homebrewing.
It's really good, right?
Yeah, we use it for everything, all our calculations and everything.
And he keeps it up to date. Like, that's one of the things, I always say that in our reads about it, but it's true. He's like the guy, he's there keeping it up to date all the time. So, yeah, I like to hear that. All right, beersmith.com. Check it out. You don't have to take our word for it. You can get a free little trial. All right, Moscow, what are we going to do? Some beer news?
Yeah, lots to report.
All right. It was a busy week, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. The Wine and Hop Shop in Madison, Wisconsin is bringing you the news from this busy week. So you guys have all heard that Lagunitas is now half owned by Heineken, I'm sure.
What?
JP's a fan of that story.
Partnership.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's fine. That's half owned. That's the same. It's the same word.
It's not the same word. It's literally a different word.
Half owned, partner. Come on. We all know.
The Dutch beverage giant has bought a 50% stake in Lagunitas for a rumored $450 million. The financial terms of the deal have not been disclosed, but it's rumored that Lagunitas was valued around $1 billion. So, yeah, we're looking at about $450 probably. The Allegiance will give Lagunitas a pipeline to a global market that it has just started to tap. Production for Lagunitas was at about 600,000 barrels of beer in 2014, up from 400 in 2013, and they're set to grow another 50% here in 2015. So they are growing at just an insane rate. They're exporting to Canada, Ireland, Japan, and Tony McGee said that Mexico is next. Lagunitas approached Heineken about the deal, not the other way around. You guys know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and I think I reported maybe, like a month or two ago that Lagunitas was looking to sell an equity stake, and I think they were courting, Wells Fargo, not beer companies, per the report that I read.
Sure.
But I guess they approached Heineken, and that's who they struck the deal with.
You know, at the Craft Beer Summit, I saw both Tony McGee and David Walker, Firestone. And all I had to say to them was, guys, what the fuck? I can't get one scoop. I've known the both of you for fucking 8 years now. I've done nothing but promote your breweries. I've done nothing but just talk about the praises of the weed-smoking Lagunitas guys and the fucking hippie Firestone Walker Central Coast guys. Not one of them could give me a call on the eve of the announcement or even the morning of the announcement and go, hey, Justin, thanks for all the time you've spent talking about our companies. How about we come on the show and give you an exclusive now that we've both
Well,
no
you know,
chance.
so nothing. And I'm not exaggerating.
I know.
This was the conversation I had with both of them. I looked him right in the face. I walked right up to David,
what
and I
did
said,
they say?
"David, what the fuck?"
Because
he just laughed. You know, hi. You know, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. And I'm just like, yeah.
And then he walked away and forgot all about you until the next time he sees you. I think that's the problem.
And the same with Tony. At least Tony smokes weed, so he's got a reason to be so forgetful. But seriously, guys, I mean, how much free promotion does one guy have to give to get a fucking scoop in the world?
There's no limit, apparently.
Instead of burning the bridge, why don't you offer half of the Brewing Network to Heineken or Duvel?
I guess I should have. For $50. That's our value. Our valuation is about $100 these days.
Well, you said it was $1,000 a barrel. That's the guideline, right? So we're worth nothing.
We're worth $0.
Yeah.
El Segundo, can I just ask you, can I go on record right now? Whenever, if ever, if you're gonna sell, could you just give me the scoop? Yeah, all you got to do is call me up and say, "Hey, we just announced."
I'll commit to that right
Thank
now.
you. That's all
I'll commit to that right now.
Yeah. Hey, we're selling. We're not going to tell you who. Hang up. That's it.
That's my scoop.
We don't know details.
So, Justin, you'll have an emergency meeting of lunch meat just to announce it.
Just to announce it. I mean, Tony, the motherfucker, comes on the show the night before he announces his IPA lawsuit.
In your face.
By the way, I love that man. He is one of my idols in this business. But the fucker comes on 24 hours, 12 hours before
it was.
his. He was on this program on a Monday night. On a Tuesday morning, he announces his lawsuit. It's
true.
Against
To Sierra Nevada.
And if I remember correctly,
to Sierra Nevada, and again, I'm like, really, Tony? 12 fucking hours, you couldn't have just said it on the show?
No. He was like, who are you again?
And
you just did the show.
And getting scooped and trademark issues came up in the interview.
Yes!
And yet, nothing happened until the next morning.
Nobody takes us seriously. What do we have to do to be taken seriously? Do we have to act serious? Do I have to say fuck less? What do I got to do?
I don't know. You should, as far as like how much free promotion you need before you get a scoop, I don't know. Ask Jamil.
That's right. When Jamil opened his brewery, my own Jamil.
Yeah.
Dropped it on another podcast.
Yeah.
Not even on his own show. On our show.
I'm actually becoming resentful. I'm starting to become resentful.
You deserve it.
I'm sick
greatly
of it.
and emotionally.
All right, so anyway, what the fuck did Lagunitas do? I don't care.
Well, Lagunitas is going to continue scooping us, and they're also going to continue operating independently within the U.S. They insist. They're keeping its management team. They're keeping the brewers, the recipes. Tony is staying on at the head of the helm. We have some. So Tony, just not only did you run into him on the floor of the summit, he spoke to the summit attendees, right? And he gave sort of an explanation when he was asked.
Yeah. So what happened was he was scheduled to give a talk before this buyout was even on the table, and so his talk was about. It was called Stories with Tony McGee, and it was a lot about opening the Chicago brewery, which is really fascinating, actually. And we're going to have that video available for you tomorrow, I think, by tomorrow about midday. But at the end, of course, there was a Q&A period, and I think the very first question... He didn't mention Heineken through the whole discussion, his whole 30-minute talk.
Shocker.
And, of course, and I'm running the microphone around to people for questions, and I think it was the very first question I handed to somebody. He goes, hey, so what can you tell us about the Heineken deal? And so Tony answered. It's about 5 minutes long, but I think it's worth a listen. I really liked his answer. And so we're going to play it for you right now. This is Tony from the Craft Beer Summit up in Sacramento this week answering, what can you tell us about the Heineken deal, Tony?
What can you tell us about the Heineken deal?
You know, most of the reporting out there, the real media outlets, they got exactly right. It's the Heineken is purchasing a 50% stake in Lagunitas. It's as simple as that. Here's what this produces. It produces, number one, I mean, you know, the headline is it produces a liquidity event for me and all of my shareholders. And these are people who've been sitting on, you know, an investment, the money they lent me back in 1998 with zero return except cases of beer on their birthdays and when they had barbecues and stuff for all of those years. Very, very, very trusting. But, you know, everything has its limits. The business gets big. You will feel the same pressure at some point if you succeed with your business that they want to start to see something coming back because they can see that the company is certainly feeding itself. So that's a real thing. I'm 50 fucking.
So I just want to point out what I like about him from the start is he's not skirting the issue about getting paid. Like he just says, we just got paid. He used a fancy word. It creates a liquidity event.
Oh, geez, pass the liquidity.
But what he's really saying is we got paid. I've had these investors that have been sitting on this shit for 15 years now, I think is about the age of his company, and we got paid. And I like his honesty. There are other companies, some of them my favorites, that haven't been quite so forthcoming with the details of their mergers or whatever they are. And that's their business, right? They don't owe me anything. But I like the transparency.
I do too. It's really terrible that that it's become like something you have to stay mum about. Like it used to be a good thing if you got paid.
If you were proud
of
if you were
it.
successful.
Yeah.
But it's the old punk band thing right now. Now, he's about to go into another great answer, which I cut him off there, so I just want to point out that he's about to start talking about, by the way, I'm not getting any older, so fuck you. And I really like this about him, too.
So that's a real thing. I'm 55. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, if you what's the movie? Rumblefish. You know, there's a scene where Tom Waits is cleaning the table and he goes, when you're young, you can do anything. You're going to live forever. And then one day you look up and you realize you got 20 good summers left. And you start thinking about it. It's not ephemera. You know, and so it's like, well, you know, what do I want to do the rest of my life? You know, I want to do something fucking exciting, and the business itself is exactly that. And so I want to see the world. You know, the things we all have done here in the United States, it's lighting up the beer communities all around the world. And why not go out there and participate with it? So there's the headline thing of the liquidity, but you know what? We were able to kind of wait long enough that I got the value of the business so high that we only had to sell half of it in order for it to change everybody's lives. But what could be better than that? I mean, my investors are a retired school teacher, my veterinarian. I told you I got 2 dogs. You know, a dentist, a designer friend of mine. I mean, these are just folks, you know, who had $50,000 in the bank that they took a chance on giving to me. So this is nothing. This feels better than anything in the whole world to do that. But we only had to kind of trade half of the company for that. But when I began this process, I told myself that the first thing that would matter most, the primary consideration, was structure. And if I could get the structure that I wanted, then all of my employees would have careers with opportunities that would have been otherwise undreamt of before that. That the company would have a trajectory into the future. The brand, and if I'm lucky, when I'm cold and pushing up the daisies myself, my name will somehow be out there in the world, still prevailing. I mean, legacy is a great thing, and so I wanted to do something that had enough imagination to it that I could set a 50-year growth scene for everybody that works for the business. I don't expect to be 105, so it means that I think that long beyond my duration here, the business is going to have growth opportunities. And if in the United States, the whole of the United States becomes like Portland and Seattle, for instance, where we're still growing up there, but we're growing at 10 and 15%, and we're not growing at 30 and 40% because it's just crowded. There's a lot of players up there and a lot of people doing good work. So what happens when the whole country becomes like that? Well, so Lagunitas, at some point down the road here, like most of us, will get pushed down to single-digit growth because it's just crowded. But I'm going to be selling beer in Belarus. We're going to be having a great time in Mongolia. You know, they have 23 brewing facilities in India. The opportunities now that the road is paved to the future. The most interesting, so that's primary with structure. Secondary, in order to achieve that structure, we would exchange some equity. So somebody that says that you have nothing invested, have said to me, I have nothing invested in a joint venture. I moved half the equity of my business into this. That's a lot of money, and it's a lot of value. And in exchange for that equity, money would come to us. So money was tertiary, and I'll say that till the day I drop off. The money was good, and what the money showed me, though, more than anything else, was the duration of the vision that the partner had for the investment. If they were only willing to pay a small chunk, it means they needed to make it pay on the next quarterly analyst call. If somebody like Heineken came in with a big number, it meant they were looking 10 and 15 and 20 years out. They were looking, the senior people there, they're looking beyond the time of their own careers. You know, and so money is tertiary. It's important. So's the equity, so's the structure. But structure was primary, and we achieved everything we wanted to get in this. And this will change nothing for us at all in the United States. We might work with Heineken USA on some national account calls. I don't know. that could happen. But that was never part of the discussion. The discussion was Mexico, Argentina. Their two biggest markets are Vietnam and Nigeria. I mean, what does it take to go to market in Nigeria? I can't wait to find out. I mean, this is exciting now. I feel like I'm starting the brewery over again. And we still own half the company. And so somebody said, well, what happens if one of your shareholders sells one share? Now it's not 50-50 anymore. Just for what's worth, there's a thing, all of the existing shares are held in something, an LLC called a founder's vehicle. And none of the people within the existing shareholders can trade a single one of their shares. But in exchange for signing on to the founder's vehicle, they get this special dividend, which is the payout from the proceeds of the sale of 50%. So this is something that's never been done before, and it's not like any other deal that's happened in craft yet. There may be lots more like this. I hope it's a paradigm, because what it does is it gives the craft brewery just a friction-free surface to move forward into parts of the world that are already thirsty for what we're all doing here on the West Coast. So that's all I have to say about that.
That's all Thanks for it. So I like his transparency. I like him. He doesn't have to tell us about the structure, but he did. I kind of like that. And I find it hard to argue with. I think the main argument that Tony's going to run into that most people say is, aren't you the guy who's been bucking corporate beer the whole time?
Sure, yeah.
Say no to corporate beer and this and that. And I think that I don't know what to say about that. I think he's going to have a hard time arguing against that. But the rest of it, how does that not make sense? How is that not like a normal thing for a normal business person who spent the last 20 years of his life trying to do this thing? And you heard him on this show talk about the struggle and that as soon as you make more money, you spend more money, and it's just this constant thing. And paying off his original shareholders.
Oh, yeah, that was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the message to everybody that has a friend that wants to start a brewery that needs 50,000. Like, hey, maybe something you want to consider.
Right.
That means a lot to everybody in that room that was listening.
I think you're right.
I also say half the people in that room, I bet, don't like factory beer as well. But at the same time, if you ask the same people, well, would you take a buyout that would liquidate?
It would change your life. Yeah.
Change your life forever. Maybe you wouldn't want to even be around beer ever again, and you're a made man. They would take it.
Yeah. I think you're right.
So they're hypocrites as well.
I really liked the candor in that message. What I wonder about is not necessarily just with Tony, but like the first message that comes out is his whole lecture of using Nietzsche and stuff like that, and all getting really philosophical and kind of ignoring the motivations that he's revealing there, which are very important and are a success story. And it's nothing to be ashamed about.
Well, he has different levels of stoned depending on which reporter he was talking to at the time. Clearly, when he was quoting Nietzsche, he had fucking smoked a lot of weed that day.
And so to me, it just felt that message, the Nietzsche message, everything felt dishonest. This is what I think should have been the first. And it would have been very unique because I think that a lot of the breweries that are in this phase and are selling out and getting liquidity and all of that stuff, they're doing it in order to pay off the initial guys that took the risk 20 years plus ago. And that's totally fair, and it should be done.
Yeah.
And why are they feeling so much pressure to be ashamed for it? Which I think is incorrect and shouldn't be allowed.
Well, I think this is a point that Moscow was making, and Scott and I have talked about this before, where there is this thing all of a sudden where you're not supposed to be successful.
Yeah,
you're supposed to apologize for success. If you pull up in an Audi, you're supposed to apologize for that. And if you've started from you started in your garage like we did, and maybe one day we pull up in a Volkswagen. I don't know what. Right? Like there is this sort of air that we're supposed to apologize for these things. Right. Now, if you came from money originally, or if you're just expected to have been loaded or anything, no one has to apologize for that. You're only supposed to apologize when you've crossed over. Right? Yeah. So
occupy, dude. That's what you got to do. Fight for it. Go camp in a park and rally against that shit.
I don't see why you can't be successful and make good beer. It seems like people are coming to the point where you can't do both.
I think the reality of it is that everybody tries to say that it's not going to change anything. That's where everybody goes with it, and I don't think that's possible.
Yeah,
I think the reality is everything changes at that moment.
Sure.
So, you can say, and maybe Heineken's not going to be involved at all in any of the operations of what's going on in the U.S., and I have no idea. But, once you have 50% or any sort of volume like that that's really minded about profits.
It's half of a very large company,
That's
right?
all they're looking at is profits. I mean, they don't really give a shit about the rest of it.
You got more number of people than you ever had before looking at your bullshit.
So I do think that used to be what I say, and I think that overall, maybe you're right, but I read an interesting article today over on the Full Pint. Dan, it was on his blog over there. I like the Full Pint, by the way. They used to provide our news for us, and they do a good job. And he was commenting about the Goose Island deal. Which has now it's now a few years old, and of course everyone was worried. Well, there's a lot of fans of Goose Island, especially in the Chicago area.
Yeah,
will it change? And he was pointing out that now what you see are arguments all over are actually whether or not they've gotten better, whether the beer has gotten better.
You're talking about Bourbon County Stout.
Well, there's Bourbon County Stout, and so I guess there are plenty of arguments about the Goose Island IPA and this and that, and whether or not that's changed or gotten better. I would venture to say that most of us who were worried that Goose Island would change immediately and become a piece of shit were wrong. Well, I think AB stepped back, at least in such a way, to let the beer keep getting brewed.
I've heard very different things from people who have Goose Island, like their core beers.
Yeah.
That their IPA is definitely different, and things are different. But,
and worse?
In a worse way,
okay,
yes. Lesser quality. But their barrel stuff, like the Sophie and the Matilda and shit like that, that I don't know. But like specifically those beers, they're cheap and they're in Safeway, which is rad, and those are still good. But I've heard people who are big fans of the Goose Island IPA specifically don't like it anymore, and they don't want to drink. And I don't know if it's just a mental thing, where suddenly, like the big band that sold out where their new single sucks dicks, even though they haven't changed in 20 years. It's hard to say, but I haven't heard anything that it's better. I've heard actually the opposite of that.
Well, according to this article, he was citing things that people are arguing both. So in the same type of places.
That's cool. I like the discussion.
But I do tend to agree with you that how can nothing change? How can a company pay $500,000 for half of you and nothing changes?
Well, the question is it going to change for the better or for the worse? Because of course it's going to change.
Because according to Tony, the only thing that changes is where it goes. Now it goes to Zimbabwe, and it goes to Mexico, and it goes to India. And
so is it possible that might be true? Is that a possibility?
Yes. You have that massive brewery being built in L.A. too. So
exactly.
That capacity's got to go somewhere. They already have their presence and their handles down there. So that beer's going to go somewhere.
When I first heard the announcement, the first thing I thought, which is kind of what he confirmed, and I think was maybe more of the bigger issue, that craft beer in the U.S., the market's getting saturated. And you're not going to be able to grow as much as you are now. Yeah, so in 10 years, what's the U.S. market going to look like for a company that has 3 fucking production breweries?
Yeah.
They're going to have 3 in 10 years. I mean, they have 2 in their building.
3 in 3 years.
Yeah. Right. So where does that look? The only place to go is into Europe, where they already have a taste for American craft beer, and they have European breweries brewing American craft beer, and Stone's building a fucking facility over there.
Yeah.
And in the rest of the world, they want to have that footprint, because the U.S. market won't sustain what they want to do.
Sure.
And that's the point that should be explored more.
But when has it been about growth, right? I mean, that's the reality of it. Is it about growth, or is it about making great beer?
No,
and I don't think that you can do both. I don't think you can just say like, oh, we're going to grow in quadruple digits for so long and maintain quality.
Why not?
If that's the case, then Lagunitas had been going the wrong way long before Heineken came along, because they were self-admitted about growth over the last 5 years. He was I want to take on the world and I want to go for it. So if growth is actually the evil, he was already evil. Right?
I'm not talking about evil. No. I'm just saying, maybe the beer wasn't as good as it was 5 years ago.
Before that, I see. Yeah.
I just, there's a reason that people come to small breweries like ours.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that hoppy beer's better when it's a month old. And Lagunitas can't do that. I mean, they can do their Born Yesterday thing and get it out there in one shot, but like Lagunitas IPA, I guarantee you, you go to some spot in Minnesota, that shit's fucking 10 weeks old, and it's garbage. And it's not the same product that it was when you were in Petaluma and you were going to the tasting room and you're like, wow, this is a bitchin' company, and da da da. And the company has changed at its heart when you sell 50% of it to Heineken, and that's just how I feel. I mean, I don't, I think.
Well, it's valid.
There's a reason.
Valid feeling.
There's a reason why the definition of craft is what it is, and it keeps changing. And blah blah blah. The Brewers Association keeps telling us what it is, but in my heart, and what I've always said is that the essence of craft is that quality comes before anything else. And when you sell that much of your company to a profit-driven company,
all companies are profit-driven. You can't. You don't have a company if you're not.
I'm sorry. Our company is not profits first. Our company is quality, family, profit, and that's the way it works. And if you go to a company that is profit-driven, and Heineken is nothing but profit-driven, you can say whatever you will, blah, 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 blah. It's not about quality. It's not about family. It's not about anything else. It's about profits. They have shareholders. We don't have that. Yeah. And you're not beholden to that. And once you are beholden to that, there is no way. It is the fundamentals of business. Once you are beholden to that first, that's the way it is.
You don't consider yourself a shareholder?
Well, no, to be clear, we do have shareholders, but...
Well, I think profit-driven maybe isn't the right word. Right. If you put profits before quality, then you fall down that hole.
When we talk about our expansions and growing, the first thing is we talk about, how do we maintain what we're doing right now? Because that's really what counts. And we can't give that up along the way. So that's always the first consideration. And I know I personally struggle, and I look at, breweries that have grown over the years, and I have a hard time, picking a brewery that's gone from a small scale like we started with and then has gone really big and really continued to make beer that I enjoy.
Okay.
And I really struggle coming up with a single name.
That have gotten larger and the beer's still quality, the same quality.
Much larger. They're much larger. They're still really.
By the way, with the size of El Segundo, the city, if you guys go too big, you'll have to take over the whole city. Like real estate wise, you'll actually just be El Segundo.
Well, and to that point, I want to say, hello. You ever heard of a brewery called Coors?
Yeah.
You fucking asshole.
Yeah. That's your quality example?
We fucking partied hams last night. You know the quality.
I do know the quality of hams. I know
it's certainly consistent.
I know the consistent quality of hams.
As Coors grows and grows, and then actually they just closed a brewery.
Oh.
So they're not growing so much. But they're, look, the quality.
That time
there.
they grew.
The time that they grew was amazing.
See, I always argue the quality point. People always say it's crap. It's really not crap. The beer's perfect every time. It's just a boring product.
Yeah, if you want crap here, try my homebrew.
I can attest to that.
Well, and it's very consistent.
It's consistently crappy.
Consistently crap.
See you next Tuesday. It really is.
All right. Well, it's all we can do is speculate, of course, because it all remains to be seen. And now, as my friend Sully said from the 21st Amendment, this is the age of consolidation. So it's happening even faster than I thought. Now I just chuckle every morning. Now I wake up and I go,
I mean, we haven't even talked about St. Archer yet.
What just happened at St. Archer? Right. I know.
You're stealing the news thunder.
All right. Well, I will say this. I know a lot of people at Lagunitas. They've always been very nice to me. Tony, to me, I really like the way he thinks about business. So I hope for the best. I hope that this. I enjoyed the speech that he gave there, the answer to the question. I hope it's true.
Yes.
And I do wish them the best. If the beer is the same in 10 years and more of it is going around the world, God bless them.
Maybe the beer in Minnesota won't be, a month, 2 months old anymore because their distribution network is so vastly improved.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's 4 days old in Cold Spring. I'm just saying.
I will also just say again, when we put up this video of his whole talk, which had nothing to do with the Heineken thing, but just about building the Chicago brewery, it's really fascinating, that story too, and how they got it built, and how he did it for about $1 million less than everybody said he could. And he had all of these very simple ideas where he turned down government money in lieu of getting a lubricated process instead. And he made just some very simple decisions. He's a good stoner businessman is what I'm getting at. And so listen to the thing, watch what we put up tomorrow and see what you think, because I like what he has to say.
I do really appreciate, too, that not taking government funds. That's a pretty awesome move.
He has a really cool story about it in that video, and it's funny the way he tells it, too. And then when you listen to the rationale behind it and how he was able to build his brewery in about 11 months instead of 18 to 24, you just think, shit, man, this stoner's smart. So check it out.
All right, well, alluded to it a second ago. Miller Coors, they bought a majority stake in St. Archer out of San Diego. St. Archer's only 2 years old. already getting bought out by big boys.
So they are, which is something that I had brought up to somebody this weekend, too. I thought, what the fuck? Why St. Archer? But I think maybe you have a statistic in your news story. They were...
That's a pretty solid bet, I imagine.
Yeah. Well, they're one of the fastest growing startups ever.
Yeah.
They were built to do
in the beer world.
And you know what their first beer that came up here that I ever saw? They're Blonde Ale.
Okay.
Speaks to a lot of how tastes are changing from shit IPAs. No offense. Stop making IPAs and you'll sell out faster.
Oh, you'll sell out.
You are receiving the best death glare I have ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm beardy right now.
Do you have a number in that story about their growth? Because it was enormous.
Yeah, I have some barrelage stuff. Yeah, they're on pace to sell 35,000 barrels this year, 2015. That's more than double 2014. So that's the fastest growing brewery.
So as a 3-year-old brewery to do double growth, and by the way, it's not double from like 5 to 10. It's double from 15 to 30 or 35.
Yeah.
So anyhow, that's a factor in choosing who you buy.
Sure, yeah, you can double a quarter easily, but it's hard to double a dollar. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Deal is expected to be completed in October. Financial details were not disclosed, and I didn't even read anybody estimating, so I really have no idea what they paid for it. But I guess we can use your $1,000 a barrel and go 35,000 to what is that? $35 million?
Yeah.
Whew, that's a lot of cheese for a 2-year-old company.
I bet it's right around 35 or 40 mil. I bet you'll find it right there.
They see a prudent opportunity. The people are rooting for. I'm getting the vibe. A lot of people are rooting for the Lagunitas Heineken thing to work out. At least from like the Full Pine and other stuff I was reading too.
Because they have street cred,
right? And that's an opportunity to go to strong performing craft beer to bring. I don't know what I'm saying here. To bring it to global markets. Is more of a sort of disappointment vibe I'm getting with this deal because they're seeing it like Miller Coors bought out and is going to take over the operations of St. Archer as opposed to partnering with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there are two factors at work. One of them is that St. Archer doesn't have any street cred. The street cred from St. Archer, they have this weird story. And by the way, I like St. Archer beer, and I like some of the brewers that work there. They're friends of ours, too. But they have this weird story of like it's a bunch of skaters or something, like some pro skaters that threw a bunch of money into it, clearly as an investment, which
bootstraps,
which was which was a smart move on their part. Let's invest in something that's on the rise. And so they have this weird kind of background, but they were making really great beer as well, and poised themselves to be this great brewery, but they have no street cred.
Right.
Like Tony and the Lagunitas crew at least have built up this kind of reputation. But then the second part, right, is that St. Archer sold out wholeheartedly, like 10 barrel, whatever the fuck, like they just sold, like they sold the whole thing, and so now we just wait to see what AB does with 10 barrel, and in this case we wait to see what Miller Coors does with St. Archer. With Lagunitas, we wait to see what the two entities do together. Right. So I guess there's just a little more optimism.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like Lagunitas can build their own breweries and do their own operations, whereas St. Archer is probably just going to get brewed at Miller Coors breweries now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is another thing I read in this Full Pint article, because I think they're San Diego based, and St. Archer is basically down there in San Diego. Yeah. That there's kind of this betrayal thing in the San Diego brewing community. They're like, well, wait a minute, are you one of us or not? Were you a small brewery part of this like San Diego thing, or are you not? And with a sale like this,
fucking socias.
The answer is you are not.
Fucking socias.
It seems very
contrived.
The sale, like the whole
2
thing
years.
was.
Oh, I had no idea we were going to get an offer from Miller Coors. My lord.
Like it was the plan, right? I love your accent. Oh, my lordy lord! What has happened here?
O.J. Simpson is not back from downtown Dallas. So you think like Miller Coors went to the owners and they were like, look, if you guys only opened a brewery, we might buy it in a couple years.
I think Miller Coors, exactly, went to the skaters and was like, hey, guys, we have this really great idea. I remember when they first started, we were doing our Instagram and are doing our whole thing, and some random guy doesn't know beer came up to me and was like, you
you should really take a look at that St. Archer Instagram. They got like 35,000 followers.
Yeah.
They're only like 2 months old. And I was like, they got like 3 dudes that have been on X Games. Like,
Right.
I'm like, nobody gives a fuck what I want to say.
Half their followers are 17.
And the other half are bots.
So I think that's an interesting point, which I thought about too, that maybe the entire concept was built from the ground up to do this.
That's everybody's impression. Is
who was sponsoring them?
Which, by the way, is a very normal. No, that's nobody.
Yeah, they weren't like X Gamesy kind of. Yeah,
they were X Gamesy, and then they started the brewery.
Yeah, but wasn't Miller Coors maybe?
Oh, I see what you mean. Were they sponsored? Good
or at
point.
least talking to them a little bit beforehand.
So, frankly, in the rest of the business world, that's how things are done. You do start a company to be bought. Like that's the point.
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's happening.
Maybe
in
the
craft beer.
skaters had Miller Coors backing or something. And they
that's
sort of
what
hooked them up.
Doc's-
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, with the booming craft beer industry, it makes sense that there are going to be capitalist investors, like venture capitalists, that are going to want to get in, invest a lot of money in a brewery, and get a quick turnover.
Yes,
selling to one of these big guys that are going to look to buy them out for.
Yes. If I wasn't such a fucking moron, I would have started some app company, right? Like, I would have built all these... But the whole point would have been to get bought after 5 years of this bullshit in my garage. And then to get bought, and you sell out for $50 or $100 million. But we just haven't seen it in craft beer yet.
No.
This might be the first ground up...
No, in fact...
You're starting to see it more and more often. People
we should be studying it.
Obviously getting in for different reasons than a lot of us start our breweries.
Yeah.
Man, I got a bunch of ideas for apps. Let's go. Let's do this thing right now. I got 4 in my head right now. Let's do it.
And with the Miller Coors being the ones to buy them out, the Sandlot, which is division of Blue Moon, division of Miller Coors, is one of my favorite craft breweries in the United States.
That place is amazing.
If Miller Coors can foster that, I don't think they would ruin St. Archer necessarily. So I think of the big guys, I have maybe the most faith in them of actually keeping it.
They would be stupid to do so. But the scary thing is like they could do they could do anything. Like, what do you want? Like
what you don't know.
You're gonna make double IPA. So what hops do you want? Let me just call up to Yakima and get whatever you want. No problem.
But they also have the buying power of Miller Coors.
Well, that's what I'm
too.
saying. They can just get whatever they want, and they can do whatever they want, and they just crush.
So now you're worried about it being a competitor of St. Archer.
Well, if they're making awesome double IPA, I mean that double IPA won 3rd place behind us at the Bistro. They won.
Wow.
They got 3rd place at Bistro this year.
No one will ever drink double IPA.
Yeah. That's a dying style.
Dying style.
And so if the big boys really get into it.
I don't think
why don't they really get into it? Why don't they...
what
haven't they?
Why are they buying breweries when they really just need to buy brewers?
Remember American Ale? The Budweiser thing that they tried to do with craft? But it was a slightly watered-down version of an amber ale.
Right,
so they're not doing it... I don't think they have the people that know... I think it comes back to the money people. There's too many money people in control of the ingredients and stuff, so they're not. You know what I mean? There's like,
okay, but Tasty asked a good question that's kind of hammering on what you're talking about. He said, "Why bother buying breweries? Why not buy brewers?"
Well, here's what. When I was,
and now maybe you get the people who can figure this shit out.
I could find you. I could say I'm a headhunter. I could find you a production planner, a sales guy, and a top-notch brewers that know how to hire and put a staff together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if I had unlimited funds, I mean, that would be just a no-brainer. That would actually happen. You'd be making beer as good as anybody. Why doesn't Miller Coors just fund that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think because you have a lot of bean counters ahead going, well, we're not going to do that. We would rather buy a brand, proven concepts that have a brand that we don't have to do all the street walking and all the whatever.
What's
I don't know.
The backstory to this project would be
they don't have all
a
of
brand.
That. Yeah, they just go, I want an existing brand so we don't have to fight for customers. They have built-in customers. They have a built-in distribution network. They have a built-in...
No, that's value for sure.
I don't think that's it.
When I was up at Davis, we had one of the execs from Miller Coors come in, and that was 5 years ago. And, of course, it's all these craft beer guys in the room, and everybody's making their cracks about the beers. And he said, hey, don't kid yourselves. We can make... same beer you make, and we can make it better and more consistent every single day. The problem is that we don't know how to sell it. And he was perfectly honest with that.
We don't have a story.
So this is their approach right here. They don't know how to sell it. They don't know how to do it from the ground up, but they do know how to buy something.
Yeah, I was going to say they need the indie feel. That's what's selling the thing. And we're all sitting here talking about St. Archer and Lagunitas and da-da-da-da-da. 98% of the people in the world have no fucking idea this happened.
Right.
98% of the people in the world aren't listening to this. So.
Well, not even just
they don't
listening
know.
to this, but they don't even know what happened. Like, my good friends who drink craft beer and hang out and blah, 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 they're in Philadelphia. And I'm back over the summer. And we're hanging out, and she's like, people bring me beer that they think like, oh, this is going to impress them. Like, let me buy something. And she comes and she's like, I bought this 312 Pale Ale from Goose Island, and I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, great. No clue that this is an Anheuser-Busch product.
Right.
Yeah.
Like not, and this is brewed at Anheuser-Busch plants. This is no longer brewed in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the barrel aged stuff, all that stuff is still like that very well taken care of. But like that's what's happening.
Sure.
And people have no clue. And as craft brewers, like we're finding that we need to fight. I feel like we need to fight that.
It's sort of back to fighting that we're craft brewers now. Yeah.
Well, and who's craft brewers?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, by definition,
what's the difference?
By definition, Lagunitas is no longer.
Is now no longer. Yeah. Now, because is that what it is? It's if you're
over
more
like
than
30%.
30%.
Like
that's what I was trying to remember what it was. Yeah.
So no longer. And I mean, and I've argued for a while, like Stone, Ballast Point, blah, blah. Those companies are nothing like our company.
Yeah.
Regardless of quality and who owns it and blah, 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 blah. If you're brewing a couple 100,000 barrels, you're nothing like a company that brews 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 barrels. Like the companies are just not. They're not the same.
But they're not the same. But are they better or worse or
I'm not.
different?
That's not what I'm saying at all. You know what I mean? And some of them are maybe like for me. I mean, if you're asking me, like Sierra Nevada, like whatever could happen, and they could be brewing 15 million barrels. And
they're still a crap brewer. Yeah.
Their beer's amazing.
I agree with you.
Just like 100%, and everything's all about quality. But like that's a benevolent dictator over there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Ken Grossman, and he's going to hand it off to his son. And
when is Dick Cantwell going to open another brewery?
Didn't he just sell like a cider company or something like that recently?
No, that was the Goose Island son.
Goose Island.
Oh, yeah. The former brewmaster opened a cidery called... The name is interesting, too, because the name is like...
Green Day.
It's like Resentment Cider Company or
kind
something?
of, no. It's like Independent Cider Company. It has a name that's like...
What is the name?
It was hearkening to like, F you, I'm still free, and then he just sold it to AB.
Virtue.
Virtue. Yeah, there you go. It was Virtue Cider Company, right? And I was like, oh, well, money has a virtue.
Well, I wonder how many people we're going to start doing more of the Greg Hall thing as more of these buyout stories happen. A lot of the people, at least some of the people that are getting bought out, are still going to be craft brewers at heart, and they started for the quote-unquote right reasons, and they just have an offer that's too good to turn down, and they can be made men. That doesn't mean that they're all going to buy yachts and head to the Bahamas.
Right.
A lot of them are going to turn around and start new breweries.
I should have opened Hop Grenade Brewery 5 fucking years ago, and I would sell it tomorrow for I don't give a shit.
But you would
$20.
buy the yacht and head to the Bahamas, but a lot of people wouldn't do that.
Dibs on Kevin.
I'd have a flag with a middle finger on it too. I don't even care. I've done enough for craft beer.
Yeah, I don't. I personally don't give a shit if people sell out or not. It just depends if I'll like the brand if the product changes or if it doesn't change. You know what I mean? Like that's my determining factor. I don't care if you get paid or not. I want you to get paid.
You just want the same beer that you liked before.
How many times in your life do you get the opportunity to pocket $1 million? Like if you go in and go, I'm not going to sell for less than fucking $5 million. And they go, how was that $1 million? I'll take it. Even though it's 5 times less than what you wanted or 4 times less or math or
Plus
whatever.
you're only keeping like $550 of that.
Doesn't matter, right? Yeah. But how many times in your life will you ever get the opportunity to do it
I'm
and
hoping for
live
7
life?
times.
Go do something.
Agreed.
Stop being like poor Dave at Flat Tail. That guy's poorer than me. And he owns a fucking brewery.
And no one's ever going to offer him $1 million. I'll offer him $1 million to shut his mouth.
Right, and he would take it. But he suffers for his art.
Yes.
You know, and it's like fuck that shit, dude. Sell. What are you doing, stupid?
Just makes me want to drink more IPA. This whole conversation makes me want to drink more double IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. Independently owned.
Right.
And when they sell,
Well, not for sale yet.
The double IPA is the only one that you'll be able to drink because the regular IPA just kicked.
Well done, Hop Grenade.
Nice.
All right. Anything else imperative?
Not imperative. They're kind of fun. You want to do a couple more or you just want to move on?
How about pick one that's really good?
All righty. In Zimbabwe.
We're moving on then.
Yeah. All right. That's the
Twitter game.
No, one more. It's good. This is in Zimbabwe. Breakfast cereal has been banned from boarding schools because students have been using it to brew beer. The Zimbabwe... Bevo, please. The Zimbabwe Chronicle said at least 3 schools in the southern part of the country have warned parents that oats and cereals made with sorghum would be confiscated when term began last week. The paper noted, quote, pupils reportedly mix the cereals with brown sugar and yeast and leave the mixture to ferment in the sun, creating a potent alcoholic mixture which the pupils drink right under the noses of the school's authorities.
Gross.
It said Tennyson Hoblanganaga High School in Bulawayo sent text messages to parents notifying them that powdered cereal and oatmeal would no longer be allowed at the school.
But the only parent with a phone didn't check his text messages.
So, I mean, it's kind of stupid, right? Because now that they know how to do it, you can ferment anything.
Well,
packets of sugar and
sugar.
They've been doing it for centuries.
Schoolyard hooch.
But the yeast need the sugar from the brown sugar.
They don't
the
need the
oats
cereal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
They banned the cereal. So yeast and brown sugar are still available. So now they're just making less healthy prison wine.
Shouldn't we be praising these young minds for figuring out how to solve problems?
Hey,
I mean,
in 20 years, Heineken's going to buy fucking...
Africa?
The elementary school?
Yeah, click-clack, fucking Count Chocula Stout or something like that. Click-clack. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what's funny. The way the article ended is a great sentence. Underage drinking is a growing concern in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Which, among many, many concerns, perhaps this is... Yeah, they're really ingenious.
What am I eating
They
for
should be being
breakfast tomorrow?
praised. Right. Yeah.
Isn't like genital mutilation also a concern?
That's a distant 47th on the list.
And like death to albinos.
Yes.
Albinos are being murdered.
There's like some serious stuff. By the way, didn't Tony say in his thing, like, oh, I can't wait to figure out how to sell beer in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, he did
I think he said Nigeria. Yeah.
Nigeria.
I think, whatever.
Isn't it a city in Nigeria? I don't know. I don't think either really exists, let's be honest.
All right, that's the news brought to you by the Wine and Hop Shop, which probably does not approve of the content in the segment you just heard.
Agreed.
They're locally owned and operated for over 40 years, wineandhop.com. They're up in Madison, Wisconsin. Use the code BNShipping in the notes field at checkout in the shopping cart. You'll get $8 flat rate shipping on orders under 50 pounds. And they wanted me to mention that they now carry Omega yeast and Giga yeast. So hit up wineandhop.com.
Actually,
Beautiful.
I just saw on Yahoo they got bought out by Amazon.
We're going to take a very fast break. In 4 minutes, you're going to hear Drunk of the Week voicemails. Plus, we'll say bye to the El Segundo Brewing Boys. And I'm going to have another IPA. Wow. Oh, no, double IPA.
Weird.
888-401-BEER if you want to call in and play along. Hang in there. It's the session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters.
Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack
stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainashev, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's the session.
All right, welcome back to the program, and thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks to El Segundo Brewing Company for being with us all night long and sharing great beer. We drank them out of Mayberry IPA here, which I'm sort of proud of because that was a full keg at the beginning of the night, so we did well. Hey, don't forget a couple of things. You can go over to craftbeer.com right now. I've got this cool thing right now that you can look up craft beer seasonals for 2015. And, you know, seasonal beer is always a good time. And craftbeer.com has been doing great things to help us find more information about beer. And if you click on their seasonals tab right now, you can actually go by region. Like you can click on the Northeast or Central or Pacific, and then just scroll through what featured craft beer seasonals might be in your area. So I was on Pacific earlier. We got some from Sudwerk right here up in Davis, not too far away from us. Something from a brewery in Redding, California. I got a little Portland, Oregon beer. So go to craftbeer.com right now, and you can check it out by clicking on the Craft Beer Fall Seasonals tab and check it out. JP, it looked like I was blowing your mind right there.
Well, you were. Well, I was watching the chat room making fun of your glasses, and then I missed like the first 10 seconds of whatever you were saying, and I didn't understand what was happening, and now I get it.
Yeah, now you understand.
Yeah.
Now you get it.
Yes, I got that jab in about you and clarifying
my glasses.
point.
Yeah.
Old man.
I mean, it's not even a jab. They're fucking reading glasses, which everyone sucks that I have to wear these things anyway. Yeah. Am I really going to go home tonight and go, oh, they didn't like my reading glasses. God.
Yeah, I think you would, actually.
Yeah. What a loser. You can't even see good.
Yeah. You can't even, see things good.
The scars on your arm. The scars on your arm tell a different story.
Just stupid. God, look at Justin's glasses. What a lame-o. All right, let's do drunk. He's so stupid. I hate us sometimes. I hate people. I hate my job.
Yeah, me too.
I love El Segundo. I'm glad you guys are here.
Yeah, they're okay. They're all right.
All right.
What?
Drunk of the week voicemails.
Yeah.
We have like 3 weeks worth, don't we?
Yeah, there's a bunch.
I tried to call in from Burning Man.
That was you?
It just sounded like me high. So, yeah.
He was talking to a bongo drum.
Yeah.
Why do you suck?
It was me trying to figure out the meaning of life.
I fucking hate drum circles.
That was my whole phone call.
Someone told me to pound sand, so I'm doing it.
The ecstasy isn't working. I still don't like drum circles.
Justin, you're snorting sand. I don't get it.
All right, what do you got?
All right, here's a quick one. He's not going for Drunk of the Week, but here's a follow-up from, remember our friend B-double-E?
Oh.
Yes, I remember him.
Hey, Scott. I am...
He addressed me directly from the Drunk of the Week line. He said, hey, Scott.
It's your
Scott,
phone number.
I am B. Please don't air all my shit, because I was going through a breakup, and I got real wasted a couple times a week. But now I say, fuck it. Air it all. And air this if you want to.
He like decides mid-phone call.
And you know what? Lunch meat
I've
forever.
thought it over.
Did you hear the end where he said lunch meat forever?
No, he didn't. No.
Well, when he was pawning, and it kicked in right mid-phone call. All the vodka hit his anus.
Yeah, I love the schizophrenia of our caller. So I was thinking, don't play all my stuff.
Fucking play it.
I've thought it over. You should play it all.
Everybody inside my head was saying,
maybe we should have a 900 number for therapy, and then we can make money on these people.
Pawning? Is that what that's called?
It's a thing.
Yeah.
I know it's a thing, but I didn't know that.
How do you know it's a thing, Bevo? Have you done it?
He's been doing it
Yes,
since you were
actually, I
14.
do it all. That's what I'm doing now. No.
Doing it right now. I've got a bottle of Alizé
in my bum.
She leaves the string in the bottle, so it's continuously wicking up.
That is disgusting. No, how do I know about it? I've been on this show for 8 years.
Oh, good call.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've learned things from you that I never wanted to know. I've lost so much innocence.
By the way, Rob and Tom, it's too late. The content of the show that goes from here on out is forever associated with you and your interview. So, like it or not, here you are.
Congratulations.
Yeah. What else do we have?
Lunch meat forever.
Thank you.
All right, here is one from Blobber. Where are we at?
I can't play a tune on the keyboard, so I'm going to sing it to you. It says, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb.
He left the room.
Mary had a little lamb,
He left this
something,
planet.
something, and then she
OD.
It goes on and on like this.
I just love him so much.
It's not even the same.
La 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 la.
This goes
It's
on
not.
and on.
It's really not a song.
La 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 la.
Anyway, and also he had called a few times before this and was like, "I'm lying on the bed and everything's spinning," and then the call would cut off, and there were several. I think there were probably 6 or 7 on that thread.
Meanwhile, if Scott would have played it to the end, at the end he would go, okay, my lunch break's over. I gotta go. I don't think he was drunk. He's just that's him.
Gotta go press the button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it ended.
Yeah.
All right, that's Blobber's entry. And then remember Theo Brew?
Oh, yeah.
Theo had one of the... it's a series where this is becoming a recurring theme on this, where they call back several times in a night as they get progressively drunker. So here's the first one.
Hey, it's Theo Brew. I'm tipsy. It's the beginning of my birthday night.
Who says tipsy?
And I thought I would call in to give a bass line.
Stop for 1 second. It's the beginning of my birthday night, and I'm so lonely that I'm calling the Brewing Network's voicemail line.
There's no background noise.
That's
There's
really
no party
sad.
happening behind him. It's quiet.
No, you said. Well, they haven't got there yet. No one really shows up on time for a party. Everybody knows
all right.
It's early.
I'll call you in an hour when I'm done watching Law and Order. Reruns.
SU.
It's actually like 46 minutes because he TiVos it and goes through the commercials, you know.
I'm calling to give you a bass line. All right, I'll call you back with the guitar matching solo.
What else does he have?
/drunk, so it's not a good bass line. I'll call in later when I am more drunk.
All right, and then here was one from about an hour and a half later.
Okay, I'm drinking like 2 glasses of Founder's Imperial Stout
which is like 11%. It was delicious, but it's 11%. And I've had some Wild Turkey 101.
Whoa. Nice.
There are pictures online of how much I've had of that. And then I've been drinking other things. I don't even know. So Wild Turkey, got Fountain Imperial Stout. Oh, I've had some IPAs. No, not IPAs.
And then that called.
By the
cut
way,
off.
still lonely.
It's like, my parents are gone away for their anniversary, and I'm rating their. Who drinks a pitcher of wine and Wild Turkey and beer?
And then I had a shot of Midori, and then I put some water in there to make it look like the level hadn't gone down.
And I found this pack of smokes. All right,
here's the final one.
Watching
Your
Scrambled
message
Playboy.
is so fucking professional now. It's like, thank you for calling the Brewing Network. And I think I'm on the drunk delete line, and I am, and I'm not sure. But my phone is buzzing. Maybe JP is buzzing me. That would be like the light of my life if JP was buzzing me.
The light of my life.
And it's my birthday. Did I tell you that? I probably did, because it's my birthday.
That's it. That's
Jesus
his
doesn't
entry
like
from his
Theo.
birthday.
He's a sad theology student.
That's true.
All alone
Slash
on his birthday.
Engineering student. He doesn't really know.
All right.
All right,
anything
and
else?
then here's the final one from Keith.
I am calling for Drunk of the Week, I think. My name is Keith. I was at the Barrel House in Paso Robles, California. It's like Firestone's little brother. I've had a whole bunch of the Saison. That's the brew club. I'm a slob. I want to say hi to JP.
Hi.
What's up, Justin? Tasty, what's up? All right, I'll let you guys go. I'll call you back later. Bye.
Okay, but then he did call back a little later.
I like
this. I've been meaning to call you back since Friday night. It's now Sunday night.
Jesus.
And now I'm calling you back to tell you that I am a little bit drunk. A lot bit drunk. So like 6.5. It was very good beers, though. Originally, we had some kind of double, Allagash double. And then we drank, I think I had 3 or 4 the sours, which were really good. They were good. They were awesome, actually. JP.
What?
I'm going to say suck it, JP, but I know in the deep down in my heart, I know you're a big old softy.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Justin, you're awesome. Tasty. You're really cool, dude. You know that. You and you love cookies and all that stuff. You're a cool dude. I just know it. Doc, how does Doc not win Drunk of the Week every week? Because I think about that guy. I can't understand the thing he says.
Think about him a lot.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
I miss your musk.
Now, the call ended very abruptly. Did you hear that? I think I heard like his wife yell in the background, like, "What are you doing?"
Oh,
So listen, you can hear her.
I'm
Listen.
talking to my friends. Leave me alone.
Listen to her. She's.
I'm going to let you guys go again.
Let's listen.
Yeah, turn it up.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
He's down in the basement.
Nothing! Why do you always come in here at night?
Oh, really? Jake from State Farm.
What is he wearing?
What are you wearing?
He sounds hideous.
I'm not talking to anybody.
It's my friends.
Yeah.
God. Leave me alone.
You interrupted them.
See, this is when live Drunk of the Week calls were really good, because if we had heard that in the background, we would be like, oh, you got to put her on right now.
Yes. Right.
We got to talk to her and find out what the deal is.
All right, so you got Blobber, Keith, and Theo Brew.
Huh. Wait, what was the last one? Oh, last one was
that
Keith?
was Keith.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
missing
did
B-double-E, but that wasn't really an entry.
Yeah, all right, Blobber. I kind of like Keith with the getting in trouble.
That was funny.
I feel like he was. Plus, he was really like loving on us. Tasty, you're so cool.
Do you know that? Do you even know?
You even know how cool you are.
So did Theo, right?
I feel like it should be Theo because
Theo,
it was
I felt
his
sorry for
birthday
him
and
because it was his birthday.
Sad birthday,
He's home
Theo.
alone. Then I'd feel sorry for myself if I did that. So I'm going for Keith.
You're going Keith, not Theo. It would be even sadder if Theo won Drunk of the Week on his lonely birthday.
Yeah.
I like how he doesn't even acknowledge it. Like, he doesn't even say, so, I'm alone. We just have to extrapolate that Theo is always alone and drunk.
There were parts of it that I cut out because they were too long. About he was online talking to Nico Brew.
Oh, Jesus.
So he was talking to people on the Ultranet.
Yeah,
So he wasn't totally alone.
He wasn't completely alone. He's talking to other BN people on the Ultranet.
Yeah, he had a robot.
Wow, this is a tough one between Theo and Keith.
You don't even. We're not even in.
Not even Blobber's out.
Oh, Blobber's song.
Well, I'll say Theo.
Mary had a little lamb, something, and then she cooked it and eat it.
Not even in the contest.
I'll say Theo.
Oh, but then he keeps going.
What's great is that I'm picturing two things while this is going on. Him laying on his bed doing this into the phone, and his wife, who I know, standing in the doorway just judging him.
Yeah, no, I'm picturing his kids coming in. Good night, Daddy. I bet you growing up, like in 10 years, we should interview his kids because I guarantee you, we thought he had Alzheimer's for like 10 years. Like we have no idea what's going on. He's been drunk the whole time.
Oh my God.
Theo was sad, but I don't think he was as drunk as Blobber or Keith.
Okay, all right.
So Theo was disappointingly sad. And look, dude, if I had your number, I'd text you a dick pic or something. But the other two,
All right, so you're thinking Blobber or Keith.
Yeah.
Okay, I can buy into that. I'll give you that.
I thought Blobber may have been just a tad exaggerated. I'm just saying that.
You just never know with him.
Right.
Because that's how he sounds sober,
he
too.
was that drunk.
That's true.
Wow.
I'm inclined to give Drunk of the Week to Keith.
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yep.
Everybody, we good with that?
Sure.
That's fine.
Keith. All right, Keith, you're our Drunk of the Week. Congratulations. It's a huge honor. You can send an email to bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com, and she will send you a prize for the week. It'll probably be in the form of a 3X shirt, something like that.
It's also
like an 8X.
Need to say it
Actually, a
again.
10.
It's BEEVO.
Yes.
Evo. I still.
There's
just
another
last
way to
week,
spell it?
There was another guy who emailed me and said, "Dude, I tried Bevo at the Brewing Network. I tried Bevo 1. I tried, and I'm like, dude,
it's Bevo.
Bevo.
You gotta have two E's.
Tall Alex has emailed me twice in the just today, and both times Bevo.
What is? And even Tall Alex is a smart man.
He's
what
a
is going
dumbass.
on?
Have you seen the names of their beers?
Well,
I take it back. You're right.
His first name is Tall. He can't really be that smart.
So
The kid's a dummy.
He should have changed it.
I have somebody named Thud Monkey on line 1. He is not drunk. However, he is complaining about the Drunk of the Week system.
Oh,
good. More complaints. We love complaints here.
What's up, Thud Monkey?
You want to be a brewcaster?
Yes.
Well,
all right. What do you got? What do you think?
Well, I think my girlfriend qualified for a voicemail of Drunk of the Week, and only 4 were played.
Oh, she didn't get played?
Oh.
Scott's very sexist.
Do you remember Thud Monkey's girlfriend calling in?
Yeah, but I hate women, so. No, I don't. No, I don't. There were no chicks.
Oh, he says there were no female calls?
There were no chicks, but there were women.
Right. His girlfriend, Steve.
From when? When did she call in?
His girlfriend, Keith.
Okay, yeah, what's the date?
Hang on, let me see.
Hang on, I wrote it here in my notebook.
While I was hammered. Made from human skin. It sounds like we're talking to Caitlyn Jenner, which is amazing.
Let me take notes. Hold on, slow down.
I think you're so brave. I think you're so brave. You're such a brave person.
My girlfriend Frank called in.
8/15/15.
August
At
15th.
11:26.
Yeah, I got one from you, dude, and nothing from her.
It was from her. It was a lady.
You sure?
It was a lady.
I swear it was a lady.
I think
It was a lady.
it's the famous case of Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
Are you sure you didn't call in on behalf of your lady? And then she was like, hell no, I'm not talking to them.
Lady calling in behalf of Drunk of the Week.
I think
Ms. Dunbucky.
I think we have it here. Let me play her. Hi, this is Thud Monkey's girlfriend. Not Thud Monkey pretending to be his girlfriend. No. He actually has a girlfriend. But that's beside the point. He's so wasted. I need to service him. Hold on, please.
Yeah, you're right, Thud. There it was.
There it was, Thud.
Pretty good.
Happy now?
Oh.
All right. Sorry, brother. I don't know what to do.
We just lost it.
Thanks for the phone call. I don't know how to help. Shit gets weird.
Right.
All right, so we had our drunk of the week. Send an email to beevo@thebrewingnetwork.com. She'll send you a prize. And our Twitter game today was JP needing some marital advice.
Yes, that's right. I want to pool the collective resources of the Brewing Network.
Yeah, what do we have here?
We have some pretty good ones, actually. I'm a little impressed. TK writes in, he says, Adam and Eve and the 10 free gifts. That's all you need for happy marriage.
Oh, by the way, AdamEve.com right now, if you go use coupon code BNARMY, you get 10 free gifts, 10 actually free adult DVDs. Is that right?
Yes.
10 adult DVDs,
a free
50% off just about any one item, a free gift for her, a free gift for him, a free gift for you both, and free shipping.
Yes.
Yep. And it's amazing. Go to AdamEve.com, use coupon code BNARMY. All right, carry on.
Army. Okay, Gimme Good Beer writes, happy isn't an option. The best he can hope for is to not to lose any more hair.
Okay, it's not really advice. It's more of a statement.
Yeah, well, I'm asking for how to have a happy marriage.
Yeah, advice.
So I guess,
He's saying that's unattainable.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he's saying.
Mr. X writes in, laugh a lot and don't pay too much attention to each other. That's a quote from George Burns.
Oh, we had to get all serious on it? All right, fine.
What are you going to do? Phil Howard says, do everything.
Oh, Taryn, you're so funny. Oh, what another great joke you told.
But not to pay too much attention to.
Let's go sleep in separate rooms.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah. I'm going to go to Burning Man. Phil Howard says, do everything opposite of Doc.
Okay, that's pretty good advice.
And actually, there were about 5 of those.
Oh, really?
Yes. Don't do what Doc did.
What did Doc really do? But try to live his life.
And have a successful business.
Right. Make money, have
don't
kids.
make money and be happy, sort of. Dave Malone writes in, he says, take your anger out on Beardy so you'll never bring it home.
Okay.
That's fair.
It's valid. G to the P says, have Sugar Valley Brewer write a romantic wedding song that you both can cherish forever.
Good idea.
Beer Fan says, you're always wrong, period, every time.
Okay.
It's good advice.
I've heard that. That's, you know.
Ian Stringer says, don't have kids. You don't need them as an excuse to go to Disneyland.
Clearly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Andy Weagle says something I don't even really understand this. He just says, little man in the boat. I don't get it. Never heard of it.
I don't get it either.
No, like the little thing in the thing.
I got nothing.
The little thing. No, okay.
I have no idea.
Colorado JBS says, get an Asian handyman named Wee. Because every time she says we have to fix something, it never means her.
Oh, my God. That is my life. That is my entire life.
Pretty good.
All right.
Austin says, just do whatever Sam does, which I thought was weird.
Because it's working?
What does Sam do?
I don't know.
They're still married,
But
so
I
whatever
wanted-
Sam's doing.
I think what he's...
put it in
Because it's pretty good. Like, Bevo's happy. She lets that idiot do anything he wants.
Oh, look, there's mutual benefits to that. Sam does what he wants, and then I get uninterrupted sleep.
Right. True.
Kelly Wingert says, marriage is about give and take. Keep that in mind when you ask for anal on your birthday. Should be on her birthday, but
right.
I'm trying to figure out which part of that description I'm going to write down. I think anal on birthday will remind me.
There you go.
All right.
Old Prospector says, set the Pico Brew to blowjob mode. Conrad.
I mean, didn't you stop getting BJs like 5 years ago anyway?
No.
So,
No way.
Well,
6 years ago.
then set the Pico Brew.
She wants the D. What do I don't know. I just felt like saying
Don't
that.
ever say that.
I know, it's pretty stupid. Conrad B says, well, yeah, good luck. Pretty good. Some more. Groby says, JP, you can be right or you can be married. You don't get both.
Okay, yeah.
Effing Beer says, misery seems to be the only thing that makes JP happy. Okay. And then Brian Shar says, I got nothing, man. Don't be a dick. Sure. Go with that and let me know how it works out.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, thank God.
Kind of a lot. Actually,
right.
page 4 says... Kidding.
So I wrote down, do everything opposite Doc.
Yeah.
However, if 5 people said that, then I don't know which
A
one.
lot of people said that, but I take the first one. Then we get a lot of duplicates over the course of the hour. So the first person to say it gets to be on the thing.
Take out your anger on Beardy before you get home. You're always wrong. Don't have kids.
Yeah.
Get a guy named Wee so that every time we have to fix something, that guy can do
Birthday anal.
Anal on your birthday. It was remember things go both ways. Is that what it is? Like had a weird start.
Well, it's just giving and taking. Who's giving and who's taking?
Marriage is about give and take.
And then finally, I don't know. Good luck.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, do what Sam does.
Conrad.
I think that's the winner.
All right.
Don't you think?
Sure.
It's good advice.
Good luck. Fuck it.
All right, Conrad. You're now entered to win a chance to get a cabin on the Labruski Cruise. You can go to labruskicruise.com and get your own cabin. But Conrad, you're now entered to win one.
And let me say, too, for the people who aren't clever like Conrad and can't win these contests, you can book the cruise anytime if you want to come join us out in the Caribbean. And if you enter the code TBNCraft, all one word, TBNCraft, in the promo code box on the first page when you're booking, you'll get 20 free craft beer drink tickets to use on board. You get 20 free beers, basically.
Wow.
Are we still craft here at the Brewing Network? I mean, we're kind of a big deal now.
Well, we're not, but the beers they'll be drinking on board are.
Oh, good. All right.
Except for, I think, maybe Lagunitas is on that ship, too. So.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Ron Lindenbush, who I really like. He's a fun guy. He's coming out on the cruise. He parties, though. That's true. All right, TBN Craft. Use that coupon code when you buy your cabin. And
Good.
Conrad, you're now entered to win a cabin, as well as every Twitter game winner from here until December-ish or something like that. And then we're going to draw or do a contest or something, and one of you is going to win a cabin with us. All right, thanks for our Twitter game, JP.
Welcome. Thank you for allowing me to do it.
You're quite welcome. All right, thanks to the boys from El Segundo for being in the studio with us and hanging out and bringing us beer. You guys are great, and your beer's fantastic.
Thanks a lot for having us up. Good time.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Yeah. Sorry about the end of the show, because now you're tainted with our bullshit, our taints, really. This is going to get worse. You can have that name if you want to do a new IPA called
Tainted with Taints.
Tainted Taints IPA.
Call it Taint Brush.
Oh, my gosh.
That's just how it goes.
It ain't what it used to be.
No. It's your fault for bringing all IPAs and double IPAs. I want to point that out right now.
You paint with all the colors of the wind.
Go check them out at elsegundobrewing.com. Yeah, you can learn more about the beer and figure out their tasting room hours and where to get the beer and all that stuff you need to know.
I love it.
Thanks for coming up, guys. All right, are we done? Did I finish everything?
You finished.
Big week this week. Tomorrow night, Brew Strong recording live. At 5, and then Sour Hour this Friday at noon. Lauren Salazar from New Belgium will be in the studio with me and Jay.
In studio, I like that.
And then a week from tonight's the best of the session, so big week.
Actually, we're not done. I wanted to talk to you real fast about the Brewcaster Challenge.
Okay.
Because as you know, we're gonna do a Pico Brew off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But I need to know dates for that, because in the past we've done a whole build up.
Yes.
But I was going to brew last weekend, but I wasn't sure if I was if I was just going to cheat or what?
No, you're good. You need to wait, because for one, I had planned for your honeymoon.
Yes.
When we did this.
Right.
Plus, the other part of the challenge is not you two, but Doc.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a brew house right now.
Right.
So I think the idea is that when you get back from your honeymoon, so sometime early October, then you need to brew.
Okay.
So we'll be back on air by then.
Yeah.
We're going to talk recipes.
Okay.
And then you're going to go brew.
Okay.
So I think you're still solid.
Okay, great.
We're going to finish the contest in 2019.
That would be about right.
That's what we're going
for the barley wine thing.
Yeah. Good?
Okay, yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next week at the Great American Beer Festival. Pay attention to our website. I'll try to get you a schedule as soon as I can. But most importantly, the awards ceremony on Saturday morning. You can watch it at home, and you can cheer on your favorite brewers. And those of you who are brewers, put it on in your tasting room. That's what most people do. It streams in HD, and then your fans and your family can all watch and see if you win your category. And, well, get drunk if you don't. I don't know what to tell you.
You can't.
Check it out. It'll all be on thebrewingnetwork.com/TV. All right, JP. Get us out of here. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. El Segundo Brewing joined us in the studio tonight. Check them out at elsegundobrewing.com and be sure to ask them to look in the lost and found for your wallet next time you visit. If you desire to hear JP drone on about things other than beer, check out his Disney-centric podcast, Ears Up. That's Ears with a Z. Check it out over at earsuppodcast.com. The Bring Back Lunch Meat campaign is in full swing. Head over to Indiegogo and search for Lunch Meat to learn more. Go check out Moscow's Hop Cartoons over at hoplifestore.com. For some good beer insight and homebrew info, follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew and Mike McDowell at Tasty McD. Production director on the session has been Push Eject. Today's show has been produced by Scott Moskowitz. JP was looking up quick flights to Mexico to get away. Bevo was dieting on cheese plates all night. And your host was Justin Crossley. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
JP does great as his charity.